Hey, ladies and germs, welcome to episode 60. What are we? 66, I think we're at. What are we, 66?
Sure. Why not?
66 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tony, Michael, and I are watching Dracula, 1931. Bela Lugosi, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! So, the man in the window beside me in Atlanta, Georgia is the sexy, the dashing, the
Don't
one and only.
Insensitive.
Well, you know, the one, the only, Tony Michael, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dave McRae from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. And tonight we are watching.
We got the birthday.
Oh, there's a birthday. There's a birthday today. Tony, take it away.
Special birthday.
Take it away. Here's your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey. Okay, there we go. No, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to sing. But seriously, Joanna from Canada, you've been a big supporter of and I know Dave's channel and Patreon as well too.
Yes.
It's your birthday today. First of all, it's super cool. Your birthday is on 4/20. You are the dopest person I know now officially. Happy birthday, and really thank you for your support on my photos. And Dave, anything you want to add?
No, I just want to say happy birthday, Joanna. Again, yes. Thank you for the support to the channel. Really appreciate it. And I hope you are feeling young and, alive and motivated, despite the fact being cooped up because of this quarantine. But nonetheless, I hope you are feeling good. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everybody in the chat room.
Yes, happy 420.
Happy everybody. Hey, we're watching Dracula tonight. 1931. Tony and I put out a poll. Well, I put out a poll, but Tony and I agreed to do this. And this is the final tally. Let me go over to the final. Well, I mean, you could still vote now if you wanted, but it's kind of irrelevant at this point. Here is the final tally for the vote for Dracula. So we have 864 people have voted. And the results are... That's strange. I can't see it on my desktop. Let's go to my phone.
What did I see?
It was 53 to 47 or 57 to 43.
Close.
Yeah, it was something like that. Let me go to my desktop here. Or sorry, my.
You knew it was going to be close between these two. I mean, Frankenstein and Dracula. I mean,
100%.
You're talking 100%. Legends.
There we go. Yeah, for some reason on my desktop, it's not showing me the percentages, but on my phone, it does, ladies and germs. And Dracula, out of 865 votes, 57% for Dracula, 43% for Frankenstein. Not close, but not far apart. No. That was pretty close.
Very
Yeah, so we're watching Dracula 1931, old school monsters.
In my opinion, this is the foundation of the genre. It really is. Like Michael, Jason, Freddy. They're the icons. When you're talking Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, Mummy, Creature of the Black Lagoon, those are the fucking legends. That's the legends in this category. And
100%.
Without them, we're not where we are today with the genre. And especially with Bela Lugosi. Yes, I know Dracula is what he's known for.
Right.
But this dude, seriously, if you go through his IMDb, man, he was Igor in The Son of Frankenstein. And he goes back to the early 1900s in silent film and doing horror type film for the time.
Right.
So, his impact to the genre, it really is beyond just this one character. He is a huge legend to this genre. And I love that we're watching this tonight.
I absolutely agree. And you want to know what's funny? Not a lot of people, I can't say not a lot of people. I mean, that's not fair. But there are people out there that don't even realize, or don't know, I should say, that Dracula is based on a real guy.
Yeah.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yep.
And who I believe did live, if I'm not mistaken, in Transylvania, which is a real place, by the way. And Google Vlad the Impaler. There's a reason why he's nicknamed the Impaler. Google that if you want to brush up on the real guy that Dracula is, the Dracula that we've known to become, is based on. Check it out, because really cool. I would love to see a movie on Vlad the Impaler. Now that would be cool, because
I thought they did one.
They may have. I'm not familiar with one, but they might have done one. But certainly familiarize yourself with him, and because he was pretty. The guy wasn't fooling around. Now this goes back to, like, I think the 16th century, so that would have been the 1500s, I believe, going back 400 or 500 years ago now. But certainly Google Vlad the Impaler and brush up on him, because really, really cool stuff. Excuse me, no, we're going back to the. I just brought him up here. We're going back to his first reign was October to November 1488. We're going back to the 15th century, ladies and gentlemen. The 15th century. Yeah, you guys got to check this out. Fascinating reading up on Vlad the Impaler. Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler. That's who he was, Vlad Dracula, nicknamed Vlad the Impaler. So, check it out, folks. Really cool stuff. So we are watching, obviously, not really, well, I guess it would be even modern to Vlad Dracula. We're watching Bela Lugosi's Dracula, and that's who he's...
Which is Todd Browning production company did this. Todd Browning was very, very notorious at the time for these monster movies. He did the Freaks, which is another big popular movie within the genre.
Right.
So for those of you who are not familiar with these guys, I highly recommend checking it out, because again, this is the foundation of the genre that we all love, which eventually evolved to Michael, Jason, and Leatherface, and Ghostface, and Freddy, and all those guys, and where we are today with it. Without this,
that's right.
And people like Todd Browning and Carl. How does Carl pronounce his last name? Lamu? I can't pronounce it.
I'm not sure what the spelling is. I have to check out the spelling.
Whatever. Anyways, it's Laemmle.
Lamel?
Anyways, these are names that, at the time, okay, you got to remember the 1930s. These are names, when you say like Todd Browning, it's like saying John Carpenter or Wes Craven. I mean, these are guys who were really well known within the genre. So highly, highly recommend you guys going and check it out and check who these people are out.
Absolutely. Macca525 sends a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Hope you both okay. Tony, is that DP tat? If so, awesome. It is a Deadpool tattoo Tony has. Yeah, it is. Hope you're doing well too, man. Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe. Don't do that. Or as Justin Trudeau would like to say, try to prevent from speaking moistly, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But it actually was really funny. Trudeau has a press conference, and he's talking about, he's trying to think of his words. He's not very good off the cuff. He's great off on script and teleprompter, but most people are, because the words are right there. But he hums and haws a lot when he speaks. So he's looking for words to kind of say. And he chose the word the other day. He said, try not to speak moistly. I'm just like, everybody's going, moistly. What exactly is that? And then he himself goes, that's not a very good image. And I'm like, it's like he knew that. What the hell am I saying? Speak moistly. I mean, is that like going, hi, Tony, how are you?
I don't even want to know what he means by it, okay?
I don't know either. I think the Prime Minister needs a vacation or something. Then again, he's kind of got one now anyway. Well, not
everybody
really,
needs a vacation now.
Everybody needs a vacation. All right, let's do this. We're going to, by the way, Tony, I am geared up I'm watching it digitally. And I am geared up. I love the 4:3 aspect ratio. Oh,
I know, right?
Great. SD, the way to go. I am geared up just as the Universal logo is about to begin.
Okay, I'm at the Carl Laemmle, however he pronounces his last name, presents Dracula by Bram Stoker.
Okay, production. Let me go. Okay, there we go.
3 seconds in.
Yeah. Carl Laemmle. Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
like that. Presents
It's an
Dracula.
important name in the genre that I have a hard time pronouncing.
That's right. By Bram Stoker from the play, adapted by Hamilton Dien, I guess, and John L. Balderston, a Todd Browning production. Ooh, it's going to be good. That's where we are, folks. So that is where Tony and I, we have it paused. We have it paused right there where it says Dracula by Bram Stoker. That's where it is. So for those of you that want to line it up, we will get ready. Now, like many movies long ago, back in the day, this is not a very long movie. It's only an hour and 10 minutes long.
An hour. Yeah.
So about 70, I think it's about 71 minutes long. So there'll be a little bit of room tonight for some more Q&A, which will be good. So this will be fun. Tabitha Short says, I don't have the movie. My son is being a handful tonight. That's okay, Tabitha. That's okay. You're a mom. You're a superhero. You're a real life superhero. So that's okay. All right. We set to do this?
I'm ready.
Now, I haven't seen this in a long time. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I just saw it. Well, I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I haven't seen it in gotta be over 10 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
I love the music.
Oh yeah, it's great. Oh yeah. Na, na, na,
Dude,
na, na, na,
I need to bring this back. I need to put this in my Friday the 13th film. No, that wouldn't work. Although it would be freaky. It depends if I did it at the right moment. But I love this type of music to set the atmosphere. It's just great. Creepy just listening to it.
Oh, it is. It is. I love the little bat there. Ooh, that's almost like a Batman symbol in the background there.
Old Batman, yeah.
Yeah, very early, very early sort of kind of Batman feel, in terms of the little logo there in the background. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, again, guys, I know it just passed. It said directed by Todd Browning. I'm telling you, look this guy up. He doesn't get talked about enough in this genre, and he was a huge impact to it. Agree. Oh, no, I was going to say, I just watched it the day before Halloween last year. I usually watch the monster movies close to Halloween or sometimes on Halloween, mixed in with Halloween and Halloween 2. I love watching these movies every year, whether it's
look at that
Dracula.
Shot. And this is a time when a lot of this, if not all of it, would have been ADR'd. That's right. For sure. This whole thing would have been ADR'd. The sound effects would have been people I've been in studios where there's a studio here in Toronto, an old Foley studio, and in the ground of the studio, in the studio floor, there are compartments, and you open up the compartments, and they have different, like they have soil, gravel, sand, and things like that, and you would use that to walk in, to record your feet, to match what the person was doing on camera, and they have all sorts of different cool. It was an amazing Foley studio. Of course, now everything's done digitally, but back in the day, to do the footsteps and the sound effects, things like that, you actually had Foley artists in the studio, watching the screen and doing the footsteps in the gravel and things like that, and it's just so great. Because recording sound on location was not a hot commodity back then.
No, it really wasn't. Really wasn't. So you think about the importance of the Foley's job back then. They were so key to making it believable for what people were watching on the movie theater back then.
100%. The driver. I love it.
The driver.
This is a great, whatever they did, this is a great transfer of this movie.
Same really here, the digital quality, same. It's a very good, I mean, you can see the grainy, on the film. It adds character, but it's definitely a crisp quality that I'm getting as well, too.
And the audio's got some static, which is always great, right? I wouldn't want it cleaned up. I like watching shit, in its time.
I want it to feel like 1931.
Yeah, that's when it came out.
I don't want it to feel like 2020. That's the same thing watching The Wizard of Oz. I don't want to watch The Wizard of Oz and feel like it's 2020. I want it to feel like it's 1939.
That's exactly right. Ooh. Bats and wolves. I love this guy. This guy's great.
I think I could get away with a Dracula photo shoot. I don't know if I could do a Frankenstein one though.
You need somebody big. You need somebody
Big
like 6'8".
Boris Karloff's look though is so iconic. I'm never going to get close to that. I'm not even going to get into the ballpark of that. But I could get close to Bella's Dracula. I can get really close.
Even Christopher Lee's Dracula was pretty fucking good.
I was just going to say that too. Yeah, but
he was really good.
Freaking Bella, man, he's Frank. I mean, he is just forever Frankenstein.
For those of you that don't know, because some people may not, Frankenstein was not the name of the monster. It was the name of the doctor who created the monster. The monster was just simply known as, I think, the monster. I think something like that. Dr. Frankenstein is the guy that goes, "It's alive." That's Frankenstein. Frankenstein isn't the big guy with the bolts in his head. Of course, it's sort of he's come to know
Frankenstein has the assistant Igor.
That's right.
Which is played. And Bela Lugosi, who plays Dracula in this movie, is Igor in Son of Frankenstein.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. I love the cross on the hill there and everything. It's just beautiful.
Very symbolic.
Yep.
Very symbolic.
Absolutely. That separation between, the supernatural and the
town. Well, no, it keeps him out of the town.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Look at that castle. Oh, it's great. It's either a matte painting or a miniature. This set is beautiful. Painting. Yeah. This set's beautiful too. Look at that coffin. Look at the little fog there in the back. A little bit of dry ice.
This is the first scene. Such an iconic scene. This whole sequence is so iconic.
I love just hearing the crackle of the old audio track
coming out. Possum.
Yep. Ooh, looks like a beetle or a bee or something. Look at that. Pause. Look at that catch light on his eyes there. Beautiful.
I love it.
One singular key light up here.
Zooming in.
Shining down. Yep.
Zooming in on Bela Lugosi is so iconic.
That's beautiful. Look at this set. There's the werewolves howling in the background.
The werewolf in the background, yep.
Vlad Dracula, there he is. Well, he's not actually. He's not playing Vlad Dracula, but that's essentially, for all intents and purposes, who he is.
The intense stare that Lugosi has in his eyes, like almost always.
Oh yeah, look at this mood and atmosphere.
Don't get it like these anymore, man.
No, you don't. You really don't. Oh yeah. Look at all that fog in the background there. It's just beautiful.
Need more smoke, guys backstage.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
And you're right. Just look at that single key light on Lugosi. It's not a hard lit scene. It's very simple, very basic, but damn, is it fucking effective.
It's very effective. Look at that. It's great.
His stare.
And again, think about it. 1931. This would have been terrifying. He would have been terrifying to people.
Oh, for sure.
This is 1931. This is 42 years before The Exorcist.
Halloween. Oh, yeah, The Exorcist.
And Halloween. Well, yeah. This is 29, essentially 30 years before Psycho. That is gorgeous.
We're at we're at the 89th. This is the 89th anniversary.
This is what fucking He-Man has to look like. You see that shot with the horse carriage going up there? That looks like, kind of looks like that.
Timestamp, Dave. I've got about 8:20.
I got
8:18.
Oh, I have 8:50 on mine. I think we're at the same spot though, right? He's just going underneath the little thing into the castle.
He's just going under the little castle bridge.
Yeah.
So we're at the same spot. We're just at two different versions.
About 8.5, 9 minutes into the movie. Great suspense too. No use of music here. That door opening.
You're right. There's no very, very, very little sound. You know, well, of course, they were very limited back then, but still effective.
Very effective. Yeah. Jeez, this would have been great to see on the big screen in 1931.
Oh, could you
just
imagine
being in that environment
back then and seeing this? This was great for them.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! That's gorgeous.
Oh, the castle.
Yeah, the stairs and the back. Like, it's just fucking Jesus. That's beautiful, folks. If you're watching along, like with us, I mean, remember 1931. Those bats are
those bats are a trip.
Those bats are just dangling, but it's cool. It works.
I know
it works.
I mean, to them, could you imagine 1931? This would have been like, wow, that's so cool. Did you see the bats flying in the windows?
Exactly. Now it does look like somebody on a string.
Sure.
But in 1931, Jesus.
And then him coming down with the single candelabra.
Yep. Beautiful. Dracula. This guy's gonna get his ass kicked.
I bid you welcome.
Wasn't Vlad the Impaler? Isn't Transylvania in Romania? I think somewhere around there.
I think you're right.
I think he was Romanian. I think Dracula was Romanian. I think, or something like that. Chat room will let us know.
Love the wolf howl. And the guy stopping on the stairs like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Why is there a fucking wolf howling? This is beautifully shot.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
And that is what your Dracula suits should always look like.
Yeah. Love the cobwebs there too. I mean, this would have been a soundstage, but I mean, it was just the set decoration.
Beautifully done, yeah.
Fucking great. Absolutely fantastic.
Like, trust me, come on. It's just cobwebs.
Look at that spider. Look at that fake spider going up the wall. It's so great. It's so great. Like, folks, you have to remember, this is also like there were silent films for many years before this, but this is still in the talkies infancy. And this is still in the motion picture infancy, relatively speaking.
Very, very.
So,
yeah, this would have been a talkie. That's right. They would have called this a talkie.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we're going to see a talkie tonight. That's
right.
what they would have said.
Yeah, sound was not a big thing.
No.
I love it. I just love the set. Michael King says Transylvania is right next to a city called Cluj in Romania. Yeah. So I was right. It was Romania.
You have to remember too, for 1931, these guys, they're innovating the stuff that we now take for granted that just comes at second nature.
That's right.
You know, so I always wonder, what would I have preferred, being a filmmaker and someone back then where you're originating a lot of these effects and stuff that now we can just do simply in CGI. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough because, I mean, yes, there's the advantage of technology that we have today, which is so great.
That's right.
But there's the flip side of it. It would have been cool to be on the side of it that's originating a lot of
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
His voice is perfect for this role too, and it's his own voice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I love it. Look at the catch light on his eyes there. It's great.
Very simple, very subtle.
Yep.
that noir style of lighting was so popular back then.
Very big. You saw that type of lighting with the catch lights and things like that. You saw that well into the 50s. How they would light starlets and
old gangster films were like that big time. The detective, shit.
Yeah, Touch of Evil and oh god.
A lot of bogey films. A lot of bogey films were like that. But it was just noir. Noir was very Noir was very popular back then.
Yep. Uh-oh. He cut himself. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. He's going for it. He's going for it. Dracula's heading for the bloody finger.
Could you imagine being in 1931 watching this
for
the first time? You'd be like freaking out, like, what's about to fucking go down? And then you got the cross there.
And then the cross accidentally dangles in. And of course, he thinks he's going like this because of the cross. Or sorry, because of the blood. More catch light. That looks like the same shot. They would have just probably used that same shot. And
I think it is. I think they just, it's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Works.
You like.
Oh, man.
I hope you
How's the chat room doing? David Smith says, my God, so much to geek out over with every facet of this film. Oh, I know what you mean, man. You guys are talking amongst each other. That's great. Great. You guys are having a good time. 99 people watching, 100 people watching. I'm actually surprised there's that many for
I'm surprised Dracula. We hit 100. I didn't know we would hit 100 tonight.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
That's cool. That shows that there's fans out there that appreciate this genre still. Yeah. And you should. It's not one that gets talked about a lot anymore. It seems to be the lost, forgotten genre. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, I mean, this is legends, man. Without these guys, we wouldn't have what we have today. So I think it's cool that people, especially horror fans, that I can talk to about this specific genre, the monster genre. And you can get into the sci-fi shit that Carpenter was watching as a kid in the 50s and stuff. That's really cool. Like The Thing from Outer Space and whatnot. You know what we should do? Which I'm sure we'll do.
We should do a two dudes on Eyes Without a Face, which was the inspiration for the look of Michael Myers.
Yeah, we should. That would be cool.
Yes.
Good call. I like that.
Yeah, we should totally do that. That'd be a good one to do. I have seen it, but not in a long time.
Love the women just staring intensely, and then the bat.
he's like this Hugh Hefner. And down he goes. And the women are coming over. Look at this. See, I think Dracula's a polygamist. Look at him. It's just him and these three broads.
Hey, man.
He's got it made. He's got it made.
Got it made. Lucky son of a bitch.
Oh, he's moving them away. Look at that. Look at that. Just the cast of his hand shows the power he has over these women. These poor women need to be saved.
I don't know if I could.
That's what you'd hear today.
I could handle two. One's a lot to handle to begin with, but two, I think I could be okay with. Three, I think I would end up killing myself.
Oh yeah, three. It's like those cult leaders that have like 8 wives. It's like, how can you?
Oh, like Koresh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like a lot of cult leaders, but yeah.
Have you watched that, by the way? That's on Netflix, the new Waco series they added.
No, but
you gotta watch it. It's so freaking good. I just finished it today. It's so fucking good.
Cool. I love that shot of him kneeling down, about to bite his neck.
Yeah.
And we dissolve here aboard the Vesta, bound for England. Look at that.
The ship, that's so cool.
Look at that. That's such a great. Look
at
this.
CGI, but
no, but it's probably a miniature.
You got to give credit where credit is due for what they did. I mean, this is creative filmmaking at its finest.
Oh yeah, this is really good. I love that shot of the people on the boat and the water going over the boat and shit.
Yep.
Look at that. That's a great shot. They would have had a big fan. No, the boat.
The ship going back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, for 1931, they're really making me believe they're on this boat in this storm.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like I'm being cheated. Fucking love the shot there of Bella's eyes.
I know. I just saw it too. Oh, it's so great.
I mean, look, we know it's a soundstage. We know how it's being done,
Yeah.
but this shit looks more believable than some of the modern day shit.
Oh yeah.
That I see.
Yep.
I love that hard light, that hard dark light to shadow.
Yes. Yep.
Of course, now people understand why the film looks sped up, right? Because they shot it at the wrong frame rate. Anytime you see shit like this in old movies, it's because they shot it at the wrong frame rate and they're syncing it to the frame rate that the whole movie shot at, which is typically 24 frames per second.
Right.
On a picture.
Yeah, they're shooting it right
at the wrong frame rate. It looks sped up in the.
That's how they used to do slow motion as well. They would do slow motion in camera. Now you can digitally slow it down in post, but back in the day, you would actually just shoot it at a higher frame rate.
Yeah, and
then play it back at 24 frames a second. I think that's right. Got to brush up on that. But yeah. Terrible storm. All those dead fucking bodies. Jason Knight says this ship scene is beautiful. Wow. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
You know, if The Nun did more of this, I might have enjoyed The Nun a lot more. That's one of the things I hated about The Nun. It was the overuse of the fucking sound design that took me right out of the movie, especially with the fucking jump scares and shit. I think if they had taken a page from like this, where they didn't rely on much sound but very little, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
Right. I got you. Newspaper here. The late London edition crew of corpses found on. I missed is it derelict vessel? I missed it.
Yeah.
Switched over. Sole survivor, a raving mechanic.
Blu-ray addict. Have you guys ever watched Todd Browning's Freaks? Absolutely. That's one of my favorites from this genre. Like we were saying that earlier, Todd Browning, he's a huge influence to this genre and to the horror genre. And Freaks is one of my fucking favorites.
Yeah.
Definitely fucking great film. I'm sure me and Dave will do that one night down the road. Oh, and this is the infancy of the automobile. Because you're hearing the automobile horns.
Yeah, that's right. You know what's crazy to think is that this woman here, who's looking at Dracula.
Oh, Bella. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very pretty, and she's probably dead. She's probably dead now. She looks what, 25 there?
Everyone in this movie is probably dead.
That's true. That's a good point.
Had any part in this movie of anything?
I want to suck you. And he just.
And it's out of frame because you can't show it back in 1931.
No, it's out of frame. But that would have been terrifying.
Oh yeah,
that would have been terrifying.
No scary sound, nothing. Just her screaming, and that's it.
Yep, that's right. And there she is, dead on the ground. London police blowing the whistle for someone to come over. I love the London fog, still creating the sense of that mood and atmosphere. Tap of the Short says, Jason Knight, if you're serious, Dan McRae has my permission to give you my address. Just private message him if you want. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, whatever you guys are talking about there, just fill me in on the loop and on Patreon and let me know. Is Mason James watching? I don't know if was it Mason James? I think that is. Sure. About the t-shirts you were thinking about getting done, send me a message on Patreon because... if you're still interested in doing that.
Me?
No.
Oh, no.
Somebody in the chat. Yeah. Dracula. Imagine they went full tilt, like he just started like stabbing people and blood all over the place.
I bet you Browning wanted to. I'm sure Browning wanted to push the boundaries, and obviously 1931, you're very limited back then on what you could do.
It would be interesting to know what he wanted to do.
Yeah, it would. I would love to have known like his full scale vision of what he really wanted to do with this film and what he was limited to. I bet you he wanted to show that girl getting killed on the street. I'm sure he wanted that on screen.
Yeah. taking off his little count cape.
You'll want it on the telephone.
We definitely don't talk like that anymore, that's for sure.
I could not help but overhear your name.
That proper, you know,
Yes.
Victorian style English.
Hello, yes.
I'm sorry, what? It's like Prince Charles. Sometimes I can't understand a word Prince Charles says. Actually, it's not that bad.
It
But
would have been like, Dave, what are we doing today? We're having dinner and tea with the neighbors. Shit.
of course, there's so many different accents all over Britain, right? There's so many different dialects.
Yeah.
Is Darren Sands watching? Because Darren is from England. What's the dialect that's most hard to understand? The accent that's most hard to understand in England? The one that's all like, the one that's just like, what the fuck are they saying? Because that's fun to try and decipher.
That's like here in the States, in South Carolina, they got this dialect called Geechee. It's like a Jamaican, it's a hard Jamaican, you know, Southern dialect where they're like walking around like, hey, now boy, you know what I mean? Now boy. And they're literally like talking like that. You're kind of talking that Geechee boy now. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, what in the fuck?
Gotcha. Aaron Click says, Cockney can be difficult to understand. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Oh. Yeah, this would have been so terrifying. I mean, think of the world in 1931 and how, you know, people weren't exposed to certain things. You know,
No.
they weren't exposed to the things that we're exposed to now. And I mean,
So I'm saying it makes me wonder who had it better, them or us? Because we're so desensitized that nothing really scares us
I think
anymore.
it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, I think.
I know. The audio was off on that. Did you see that with her mouth? Just a
smidgen.
hair.
Just a
Just
smidgen.
a hair. The audio is slightly off.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's probably, all of it's probably 80 yard. Or, I mean, they probably would have recorded a bit of audio on. But, yeah. Dracula. Pennsylvania. These outdoor shots are fantastic. We are about 28 minutes into the movie. For those of you that want to know where we are. What's that?
Halfway done.
Yeah, almost.
Almost halfway done.
Yeah, it's only a 71 or about a 70-minute movie. That's a great shot of her up in the window, and you see the light off to the. Yeah, that's great.
Great key light. Great partial silhouette.
Yep. They need to bring back this hairstyle for
the 20s.
Look at the bat outside the window. Oh, that's so great. With the fog all around it. That actually, that's not bad. That actually looks pretty good.
No. For 1931, that looks really freaking good.
That's great. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And the eyes, you see the eyes?
Yeah, the eyes glowing and stuff.
And that's for 1931.
That's right.
Fucking slick.
Yep. That's so good.
Someone says, "Oh, Frank saw this movie
and all of a
color."
sudden,
Yeah, I think if you saw this in color, it would really ruin it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it in color.
No, me either.
And the fact that they just cut to her,
The
and then all of a
this
sudden,
movie is black and white. That's what makes this movie so elegant.
Yeah, I love that they cut to her and then back, and he's just there in the room, right? You don't need to see him transition into a bat, from a bat to a person. You just know that he's done that. And I love he gets that close to her face, but then they dissolve into another scene. Like that's, it looks like a medical. Yeah, I guess it's future doctors observing a surgery here. Love that though, as he comes right up on her. That would have been terrifying for people to see.
Do they still have places like this out there, or no? These medical examinations.
I think so. I think they probably do for medical students to observe a surgery or something. I think they probably do. It
just looks so archaic and barbaric looking.
It does. Really well, they're probably more modern now. It's like
something I was seeing a Pink Floyd trippy video.
They're probably more modern, and they probably have big screens that you can watch as well, right? Yeah, so you can see them, but you can also see what they're doing, Yeah. I love when he's like approaching her and it's all quiet. And he gets this close to her neck, you know what I mean? And then it just dissolves. People would have been losing their shit. People would have been like, oh my God, wake the fuck up.
I love these old sanitariums. I'm actually planning a Freddy shoot at an old abandoned sanitarium here, mental hospital in Georgia. Ooh. Yeah, I love these old sanitarium type buildings, especially in the States. A lot of them are abandoned and they're just fucking great to use for photo shoot locations.
Nice.
And then when you go in there though and see some of these places and the fucked up shit that they did to people, like some of the electroshock therapy treatment.
Right.
It's fucking bad, man. It's really fucking bad, the shit that they were doing to people in these places.
Yeah. Hey, it's 113 people watching. Wow, that surprises me for Dracula, guys.
We crossed over the 113
mark. It's pretty good.
I honestly didn't think we would even hit 100 tonight. I really didn't.
I thought we'd settle in around maybe 70, 75, something like that. Lost Boy Boyus sends in a super chat. $2. Thank you, buddy. Says they cut out the scene when little girl drowns, and then he retracted the message.
You didn't have to do that, dude.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that. I'm not sure what you mean.
I know the little girl drowns in Frankenstein when he accidentally throws her in there, right?
Yeah, maybe that's what he's referring to. Maybe he's got the wrong movie, maybe. I love this. I love the way this doctor looks here.
Yeah, Darren, I think it is Frankenstein.
Yeah, I think so. Wrong movie, damn it. Love the show anyway. We love you too, buddy. It's okay. Man. It's all right. It's all right. I love the set decoration too. Fantastic attention to detail.
Oh yeah, the skulls.
Yep.
Like the skulls on the in this room that they're in right now. It's like my bedroom, man. Skull there, got a skull there, got a skull there, skulls up there.
That's right. And they're real skulls. Tony has real skulls.
Skulls on my walls. Yeah. I do have.
Tony's a grave robber.
I have a skull pot plant in like my not that pot, but regular pot.
Gotcha. Yeah. Tony's a grave robber in his downtime.
No, I like when people walk up to my house, go, that dude's probably really fucked up.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
That's what I wanted people to say when they come up to my house. Yeah. It's inspired by the Munsters, the Addams family.
It's the way to do it. Long dong digging long. A bunch of spit just came out of my mouth. Did you see it? A bunch of spit just came out of my mouth because I was laughing.
That as you're saying that, and I see the name. I'm like, what in the fuck?
All of a sudden, just saliva comes out of my mouth because it's funny. He's long dong digging schlong. To Dave, have you heard of the adult film actor Vaj the Inhaler? Sincerely, long dong. No, but that's funny if you're being serious. You'll have to wipe up the spit off. Actually, I think it missed.
And
this doctor here with the specs from a distance looks a little bit like Max von Sydow.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
He looks like Max von Sydow in The Exorcist.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yes.
I think Max von would have been a kid at the time when this came out.
Yes.
Very possible he would have been a kid.
He just died, right? 90? He was 90. So
oh no, he would have been just born because this movie's 89 years old.
Yes. So he was
he would have missed it by about 1 year, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was born in 1930.
Something like that, yeah.
Are you so anxious to get away?
But yeah, he does look like him. He looks
My
like
cries at night.
Yes.
I am Max von Sydow.
That's what he says.
The Film Addict. Hey, Dave and Tony, have you guys ever seen The Man Who Laughs? Yes, from the 1928, one of the inspirations for the creation of the Joker. That is true. That is very true. Good movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while, but yes.
Same. Not in a long time, but I do know the movie you're talking about. Well, we're back. We're back in the in the castle here. Listen to those werewolves. So great. Not a lot of music in this movie, and it's nice.
No, very little sound design. You got the werewolves coming in at the right moment. Not overkill, but at the right moment.
Yep. I love that. I love the cutaway, and then back, and then he's there.
The pan down shot. And then
really easy, simple tricks, you know, and they convey exactly what you needed to convey. Super chat from Jordan Moran says, which of the current movie characters would you like to see in a modern movie and who to play? Which of the current movie characters would you like to see in a modern movie? Is current and modern mean the same thing? So
yeah, I'm confused on that.
Do you mean which one of the old school monsters would we like to see in a modern movie? And who would we like to play?
That's got to mean what he means. Just don't send in another super chat. Just add us, and we'll look out for it in the chat room.
Yeah.
Van Helsing.
Love it.
For a while, yes.
I love it. I love how they're like caricatures of each other. It's great.
Of course, you know what we got to do one night. Probably it would be good to do in October. Is Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, Dracula.
Oh yeah, who's on first?
We so got to do that.
Yes. Did you know that I memorized half the Who's on First routine?
Me and my brother memorized it all and did the routine when we were kids.
That's amazing.
If I can get the cassette converted, I have to send it to you digitally so you can see us doing the whole
That
routine.
is amazing. That was what Bruce and I were trying to do, and then something happened. We actually had about half of it memorized. We were trying to do the same thing. That's so funny that you actually were able to do that. You were doing that too. Yep. That's so funny.
It's weird how our lives have had similar
parallels.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Very creepy. You're like the twin that I never had. That I came like 5 days later. I wasn't ready to come out.
Jordan Moran says, sorry, this movie in a modern retelling. Okay, so who would you like to play?
I don't know if because I think you're not going to get the same charm that we have with this original one.
That's a great shot, though. The guy looking out at him, too. Yep. He looks insane. Look at his eyes. Look at the light they have on his eye. He's like insane.
This scene, the way Dave you're describing, the lighting and stuff, we wouldn't think to do that nowadays. We would not. It would look too modern, and I think remaking a movie like this loses the charm of what we're seeing tonight.
You would need to go like these kind of movies. And again, it's not that it's impossible. I mean, you could make a big budget movie and, maybe it'd be, really good. But because of the I love it. I love it. Here, there's the bat again. Now watch what they do here. We see the bat. It's outside the window and then boom, he's just there. He's just there. We know who we know. Yeah. We don't need to,
to see the transition.
Right.
Today,
don't need to see it.
Today they would do the whole transition.
And it would look totally digital.
Yeah, and sound design around it to try to make us scared. I
would be open to a remake if it was like an A24 or an independent production company that might be. Oh, that's creepy as fuck. And look at that, just the fade out, classic filmmaking techniques. Fading out, theater of the mind.
This could be another one you and I could collab on and do a fan film. If we did it traditional Dracula, like the 1931, if we shot it that way, did it in black and white, same style, it's a very easy film to do. It's not hard, high budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. You'd need a something to sit in as the castle, but.
I got a lot of places in Georgia for that, dude.
That's good.
Like that mental asylum.
Yeah.
That would be pretty fucking perfect.
That's a good idea.
Actually, we do have a castle here.
I think I would be curious if like I wouldn't necessarily be excited if somebody like Paramount or Universal, hey, we're remaking Dracula. I'd be like, but if somebody,
that's how I would be. Yeah.
But if independent production company came along and was interested, they obtained the rights. Of course, it's Universal owns the rights. So, I mean, it would be a Universal, but maybe I don't know, maybe they just distribute the film and they work with somebody else. It's a movie that nuance and subtleties are so important. Of course, you'd have to make it. I understand that if you're going to remake it, you want to remake it for today's audiences. And I understand that today's audiences are very different than they were in 1931. But I still think you could make this movie. You could make this movie today and still, do it justice. You know what I mean? And really play on that theater of the mind, play on the atmosphere and the cinematography. And you don't necessarily have to show him ripping into a woman's neck, tearing her flesh, blood spurting from her jugular vein.
Yeah, you don't need any of that. But that's what they would do today, and it would take me right out of the fucking movie.
Yeah. And vampires too we've sort of lost, like, that's why I think I would be more interested in actually seeing a
Vlad.
A Vlad the Impaler movie. I think going back to the man whose name was Vlad Dracula, the guy who was Dracula, essentially, and who the modern tale vampire was based on. And I think even what Bela Lugosi's interpretation here, this is based on Vlad the Impaler and the stories that were told from the 15th century. And I think going back, that might be really interesting, because we also live in a day now where vampires, unfortunately, their novelty has become sort of, shticky, and, thanks to Twilight and things like that, people don't really take them as seriously. They're not as feared as maybe, they once were. I think if you go back to Vlad the Impaler, who wasn't, it doesn't fit the stereotype. You know what I mean? It's more of a, I think that would be really cool to go back and tell his story, and make it known that this is the Dracula, and that there might be something there. There might be something there. That would be. I'd be curious of that. But it's hard to do this kind of a movie now. I want to suck your blood, because it's become such a like a caricature, it's like
caricature of what it originally was.
Right. Like it's like you got the Count on Sesame Street, who's based
and
after
trust
this.
me,
You got
Michael, Freddie, and Jason will end up like that one day. Maybe as we become really super old, that they will become caricatures of what they once were. They already are. I mean, they really are, because people do parody videos, comedy videos, funny stuff. Like you're already taking what Michael Myers' character was originally presented to us in the 1978 and making it a caricature of that.
Right.
I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with making those funny videos. There isn't. They are funny, but you do begin to lose what Michael really is, which is pure evil.
Yeah.
When you make those caricature type videos and comedy type videos.
Yeah.
And that when you and I are like 80, 90, that's what's going to happen to these guys, the ones that we grew up with.
Yeah. There are already, young people today who laugh at the Elm Street movies or laugh at the Friday the 13th movies and go, what the fuck is this shit? This is stupid. This isn't scary. This is lame and dumb. All right.
But say what you want, we're the last generation of the monster genre, because you had everybody who had this in the 1930s with Frank and Drac and Wolfman. And, Creature of the Black Lagoon. And then you had the 50s sci-fi science fiction movies, which was really popular, the Blob and shit, like all those movies. And then
I love the way you said that. I love the way you said that. Not the Blob, folks. The Blob.
The Blob.
We got to watch the Blob.
We do, absolutely. And then our generation, we had Michael, Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface and Ghostface.
Yep.
We were the last. We are the generation to do monster films. They're not doing monster films of any kind anymore.
It's true. It's true. And they try to bring the monster films. They tried with The Mummy. They're trying to make them gigantic, multi-$200 million blockbusters. It's never going to work, because that's not what they are. They're more nuanced than that. The characters and their stories are more nuanced.
It just sucks that,
I was just going to say, you should be able to make a Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein movie for, at the most you'd want to spend is 50 million, maybe 60 million.
Sure.
They're not $150 million pictures,
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate that, like I said, we started with these monster films and then we got ours in the 80s that we stopped. We stopped making monster movies because in essence, that's what Jason and Michael and Freddy are. They're monsters. They're
for sure.
They're a retelling of what was already laid down back in
They're
the 30s.
An evolution of that.
They're an evolution of it. We just never evolved. We never went past it and continued to create new monsters.
I think I get what you're saying, and I agree 100%. I think we have evolved away from it. I think is what's happened, and then sort of the monster kind of, as society became more mature, as we became more desensitized, we demand it just wasn't. Horror has changed, and supernatural, and I think supernatural monsters are the monsters today. You know what I mean?
That is true.
It's kind of like that kind of thing, but I agree with what you're saying. Like I totally get it. There's a couple, I think there was a super chat came in. Did I miss one? Bringer of Chaos sends a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, will you guys still watch Frankenstein on here down the road, or maybe the Wolfman? By the way, thanks for all the content, Dave. Helps during these times. No problem, man. Thank you for supporting the channel and watching. And yes, definitely, Tony and I are going to be doing Frankenstein and the Wolfman for sure. He just looks like Max von Sydow from this, especially his profile.
He does.
He really does. From The Exorcist, like you said.
Yeah, from The Exorcist.
Yeah. He's not as big. He's not as tall as Max von Sydow, but because Max von Sydow was like 6'4".
Yeah, like from this angle, no. It depends on the certain angle he's standing. Like from here, you're talking about the Van Helsing character.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Forgot Van Helsing was in this. Naturally, of course, he would be.
Naturally,
that's a great show. Naturally. Look at them standing there under the tree.
All I got to do is throw the ball naturally.
Naturally. Who's on first?
Who?
The guy on first. Who? The guy on first base. Who? The guy on first. Who is on first? That's what I'm asking you.
Such a great routine.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love how she comes out and he has his cape open and then he wraps it around her like that.
Very little, more silhouetted. Not completely.
Yep.
But lit just enough. And I love that.
That's right. Yep. Really nice.
Again, they're doing that in 1931. People have a hard time doing that today in 2020.
I know.
Think about that. Everything. I see it sometimes when people trying to pull that type of shot off, and I'm like, oh, it looks so bad.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for sure.
John Krasinski might be doing Bride of with his wife. What's her name there?
Darren Sands brings up a good point. He says, if Blumhouse can make The Invisible Man for $9 million, I'm sure the rest of the upcoming monster movies will be in the similar ballpark. That's true. I was way over saying something like 50 or 60 million. I guess I was trying to sort of, because The Mummy from Universal was like a $150, $200 million picture, I think. Something ridiculous like that, I think, anyway. So I was trying to kind of bring it down to something a little more manageable, but something that a big studio would feel the need to spend. But you're right. I mean, if Blumhouse can spend $9 million, not that I think Blumhouse should. I don't like that Blumhouse seems to be wanting to go after this monopoly on everything. It appears that way. I think competition is good, but what Darren is saying is right. I mean, if you can make a movie for $10 million like The Invisible Man, you can do a Dracula movie for the same thing, and have it more nuanced. And who knows? Maybe it'd be pretty good. But it can't be a blockbuster spectacle. Like The Invisible Man is not a blockbuster. It's not presented as a blockbuster. It's not marketed as a blockbuster. It's an independent, modern, independent, smaller feel and film. And that's what Dracula has to be. That's what The Wolfman has to be. That's what The Mummy has to be. They have to be those kind of movies if you want to build a monster universe of the old school Universal monsters, because they're not. You're not, it's just not that kind of, they're not those kind of movies. Not those kind of characters. Love seeing the bat there in the window and he just, took off. That was great too. Oh my God. See, like, I love that. Like, imagine being in the theater, seeing this, they're dead. Be like, oh my God, what the fuck? Look at this guy. That's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's like, and down she goes.
She's like,
she faints. Look
that classic 1930s faint.
Look at the way he's crawling to her. Look at his eyes. Fuck, he's got a great look too. He's going to bite her neck, and then what's going to happen? We're going to cut right there. There it is. That's great. I love it. Love the pan over. He's coming out by the bush, or by the tree, I should say. Yeah. No music in this movie. Really, really, really nicely done.
You hear the sound of someone crying.
Yeah, it sounds like a baby almost. I don't think it is, though.
The patrolling officer.
I love seeing
on a bicycle with his light.
Yes. I love seeing Dracula's broads, I'll call them his broads, walking through underneath the, that would be so freaky. That would be cool to replicate. A woman in white. Gals. Who's the gal? That's how Unkar Platt says, refers to Rey in The Force Awakens. Like, who's the gal? The what? The gal. Or something like, did you say that? Or, where's the gal? The gal. That's what you just said there, the gal.
Yeah, Robert Kitzmiller, speaking of independent low budget, I'm really getting on board with these fan films being just as enjoyable as cinematic releases. Yeah, because the fans like Dave, myself, Cecil, and all these other guys, we're trying to give you guys, with what we can within our budget and limitation, at least good quality. Something that you guys are going to be able to like, damn, that was really fucking good. I can go back and watch that. I want more of it. You're getting more of that now. And I won't be shocked if we evolve even to that, more of that in the future.
Right.
Like how these characters like Michael and Jason and Freddy and Leatherface, all these characters are going to continue to live on is through a lot of these fan films.
I love it. I love it. Vaj the Inhaler. I love it. Dave, are you a fan of Francis Ford Coppola? Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Oh, the one with Gary Oldman? I don't really remember much of it. I know I saw it. I can't really remember much of it. I think that's the one with Gary Oldman, right? Early 90s. Keith Davis sends a super chat. Are you going to do a sequel to The Intruder? No, probably not. I would probably, if I was going to do a sequel to The Intruder, I'd want to remake The Intruder. The Intruder was something I shot in 2011. It was sort of my first real attempt since film school, because I was in film school in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then after film school, I decided to pursue a career in acting, and of course it was on camera, and then I fell into the voiceover, and The Intruder was sort of my first kind of getting back into the swing of things, and it was a shoestring budget, low budget thing. We wrote it in about a week, shot it in about a weekend, but we wanted to approach it from more of a serious point of view, but shoot it low budget, and it turned out pretty good. I think it turned out all right, and a lot of people seem to really like it. But if I was going to do, I would probably want to redo The Intruder and sort of make it have a big budget, you know what I mean? And kind of do what I'm doing with It's Me, Billy. But then again, It's Me, Billy in some ways is kind of similar to The Intruder in the sense of, you got somebody who's on the phone in the house and it's kind of similar, in terms of that. So I don't know. I think The Intruder is what it is. It's a great little low budget, experiment. It's not even experimental. Just like a B kind of low budget movie that I did that people seem to really enjoy, and just kind of leave it at that. I don't think I would ever do a sequel to it, but yeah, you never know. You can never say never.
It's true.
It was fun to do, though. It was fun to do. It was a intense 2 days, but it turned out all right. And watched it the other day on my show, and it actually holds up not bad. Still some things, and you look at it and I'm like, yeah, I probably should have done that. Damn, why didn't I do that? But it was a good sort of test. Super chat from Mark Driano says, good evening, Dave and Tony. How are you gentlemen tonight? Hope you all is well with you and your families, and thank you for your hard work and dedication. Thank you, Mark. Hope everything is well with you too. Really appreciate that very much. Tony and I are hanging in, doing what we're doing.
Although I really haven't talked to my family much.
You haven't talked to your family much? My family's all right.
Just my mom and my dad. Occasionally my sister.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to my brother. Not at all since this has started. Nope.
No, I see my family's on Facebook and I see that. I know they're all right.
It's kind of like, that's how I am. Like, I know there are like, yeah, I mean, I know I see my sister on Instagram. I see my brother there and we're good. Like, I don't need to check in on them.
Yeah. An undead creature. It's more kind of, it's the haircut that's similar to Max von Sydow from a certain point of view.
Certain angle. Like here, no.
That's right.
The way he's, but when he's got the glasses on and when he's like more profile, more on his side, yeah, he has that.
Yes.
Similar feature. Though I saw the funniest shit the other day, and I like literally I couldn't stop laughing for like 10 minutes. It was so funny. I'm in Starbucks line to the drive-through because they're still open for drive-through, and I'm the person behind the person right in front of me who's paying for their stuff. So I see that they got their gloves on, right, to not touch the cup. Okay?
Yes. Yep. Same thing.
They do the transaction, everything, and they get the cup, and I'm sure just out of pure habit. They get the cup and they start drinking out of it. And I'm like, well, why the fuck are you wearing gloves if you don't want to touch the cup because you're afraid of contracting it, but you're putting the cup to your mouth and drinking from the fucking cup?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It literally made no fucking sense. And I literally couldn't stop laughing.
It would be better to use a straw.
But I'm saying, like, you don't want to touch the cup because you don't want your hands to go on it, but you're going to put your mouth to the cup and drink it.
I think there's a bit of an evolution because a few weeks ago when I was at the grocery store, they were practicing.
An evolution of stupidity. Yeah,
well, no, I mean that I think they've kind of hit the, because when this all began, I would go through the checkout line and I would have to wait for the person in front of me to go, and then I'd have to bag my own groceries, which you have to do at certain grocery stores.
Really? Our baggers are still bagging ours.
Yeah, it's same with us too at certain places. But this one was like, okay, so you're going to touch my food that you're going beep, beep, beep. You're touching my food, right, but I have to bag my own groceries. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why don't you just bag the groceries then? You've already touched it. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. You've already touched it. Why am I bagging it? Anyways, it's changed now. Now they have gloves and they beep, 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 and then they also bag the groceries. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense.
They don't even have gloves here. Well, because there's a shortage. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Have gloves here. So.
I love this guy, how he talks like this.
Kind of got an Igor-ish type vibe to
little bit. Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was using as inspiration. It's not Igor, but he's definitely doing that Igor type vibe.
Right. I love the fog there as Bela Lugosi's just kind of standing there watching. He's always so calm, cool, and collected. Of course, you need him that way.
Just standing there.
Yes. Right.
What do you want me to do, John? Just stand there.
Just stand there. What am I going to do? Just fucking walk. Just walk across the street. Do you want me to?
What do you want me to do? Walk.
Just walk. Yeah, but how do you want me to walk? Just walk.
They did.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, 100%.
Just fucking walk, man.
Just walk.
All right, I'm walking.
All right, I'm walking here. I'm walking. I'm walking here. I wonder if
my favorite part on the walk is when he hits down onto the pavement from the grass,
and there's that little
kind
move.
Of picks up. Well, yeah, and the wind picks up it kind of high rises his fucking overalls really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always crack up when I see that. I'm like, or you let it slide.
Look at this. Van Helsing opposite Dracula. Ooh, that's a good line. My blood now flows through her veins.
That would be the only cool thing about becoming a vampire is you could live for centuries as long as you don't get killed.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You like the flip there at the end?
Yes, that's
you can
right.
live for centuries as long as you don't get killed.
That's right. That's right. And you're always out at nighttime. So no more
You're always
sun.
out at nighttime.
But then again, you don't really care about the sun anyway. Sun's overrated.
No. Just that vitamin D.
Yeah, that's right.
That'll keep you healthy from all this.
Oh, he's doing this. Holy shit. He's fucking, it's like a.
It's an iconic move, though.
It's an iconic move.
I had
Van Helsing's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing?
My old computer, like, was like back in, like, way back in the day, early 2000s. I used to have that, like, pose, that shot.
That's very cool. The way he goes, come here. And then he does. It's like he's mesmerizing him. There's some sort of control that he has. He's mesmerized. Dr. Van Helsing there, he's mesmerized. All in the performance, too. It's great. Ooh, your will is strong.
Your will is
but
strong.
I am wearing tighty whities. He says that. I could dub this. That'd be fun to dub. It would look dubbed, but it'd be funny. Oh, you know what would have been really cool there though? He's just about to grab him, and Van Helsing pulls out the cross. Wouldn't have been the way he lunges at him. Wouldn't have been cool if he was able to grab him though first, and then there's kind of a bit of and then comes out the cross. I don't know if they could do that in 31, but
what I love about it is they're building suspension and tension between Van Helsing and Dracula.
100%.
No sound.
Yeah.
No cheap sound design. The tension is there.
Oh yeah.
The suspense is there.
Yeah, for sure.
John, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, John, I'm so glad you're here. Let's have a cup of tea. A spot of tea, please.
I've got my pointy bra ready to go.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't say that. I don't think she's wearing a pointy bra. I just said that for the hell of it.
Only Madonna does that.
That's right. Holiday. You're so like a changed girl. Again, the acting's very, again, it's very theater and stage acting because we're not that far removed from, I mean, the motion pictures, if that,
If that, we're 30 years into motion picture filmmaking.
Yeah, and most of that was silent films.
Yep.
And silent films of, that looked like people running around. And I think that's
the quality of acting that we don't get anymore, except for people like Hugh Jackman, who's very, he's a stage guy. You could totally tell he has stage acting ability when you watch him as a performer. Same thing with Christian Bale. In what's her name, the icon there, the legend, Meryl Streep. These people are stage actors because it comes across on screen as their performer. Like one of the things that I've always picked up on when I watch Cheers is Bebe Neuwirth, who played Lilith on Cheers. You can totally tell she's a stage actress, and she is. Right. She's like, big time Broadway actress, very successful career on Broadway, can sing but I knew that because you can see her as an actress on Cheers really kind of running circles around the rest of the cast who are not stage actors. Stage actors really fucking bring another level of acting to the table when you're making a movie, because I think a stage actor really has more range, because when you're performing in front of a live audience versus to being on set, it's a huge difference. It's a night and day difference. You can't really be off your A game, selling the character on stage to a live audience. You can fuck up as much as you want on film until, the producers come in and say, hey, get your shit together.
Right.
Keith Davis wants to know, would you play Dr. Loomis in a fan-made film? You'd be a good Loomis.
Well, I would have to, if I was going to play Dr.
Pleasant's height, too.
Yeah, if I was going to play Dr. Loomis, I'd have to work on my British accent. I mean, I can do a satirical, a drunk Loomis. Oh, fuck. But if I actually had to be English, that's something I'd have to work on, because I'd have to, I wouldn't want that to be a weak, every time I open my mouth, well, God, he doesn't really, So I'd have to work on that. And I'm not old enough to be Loomis yet, but.
Younger version of him.
Yeah, another
with
10
more
years
hair.
I could be Loomis. Yeah, that's right. Shave myself, Paul. But yeah, theater, I mean, again, I've said this before, the only thing that doesn't come from the theater when it comes to motion pictures is cinematography.
Yep.
Everything else comes from the theater. The acting, the production design, set design, directing, writing, producing, wardrobe. It all comes from the theater. And that's why, again, acting in movies very early on was very theatrical, because that, you're seeing sort of the evolution of acting. And once, somewhere probably in the 50s, 60s, maybe a little bit in the 40s, but acting became more nuanced, because you're working in a frame like this, and with close-ups and things like that. And on stage, you had to be big and big. Because you had an audience that you had to reach in the back and reach up in the balcony. But on film, you have a screen this size, and no matter how far, or where you are in the theater, it's the same sort of thing. That's a Cliff Notes version of why. But when I was in film school, I had a class where we were learning all about that, and it was fascinating, really interesting, learning the history of film and acting and things like that. But that's why acting is like that in the early films.
And that's why, like, when a lot of younger people who think these actors in this movie are being overacting with their movements and stuff, you have to remember, this is their norm. This is how they acted back then. You have to remember, motion picture, like Dave said, is very new. Everything is still really theater. Theater's like the main draw. You go to theaters, and all the fancy rich people, first class people and shit go and watch a show. Majority of them were still going to the theater. A lot of people were like, I don't want to go see that talkie. The talkie was really more for like the common folk people.
Oh,
really.
yeah. And
rich people saw talkies, but they were more in the theater. We going to the theater.
Right. And also, too, depending on the movie, a lot of movies were shot like stage plays, and a lot of sitcoms back in the day, Three's Company, All in the Family, were 3 camera setups and were shot like a play. I mean, Jesus, The Honeymooners was a fucking stage play. Even though it was a TV show, it was actually shot on a stage in front of a live audience. Yep. You know what I mean? I Love Lucy, same thing, and although I don't know if they were in front of an audience, but it was shot like a stage play. And
so when you see these actresses do these types of movements in this, which it was very common in the 20s and 30s, because it was a stage thing. It was how they were acting on stage, and they were still doing that in motion pictures. It was several years before you started to break away from that, and where actors really became the character and started to really, get away from the theater
like
style
I said,
acting.
Yeah, things became more nuanced, and they, the understanding of film and the understanding of the motion picture and the frame and, where the actor is going to be on their mark and how big they're going to be in the
effectiveness of the framing of the shot and shit.
The fact that it took a bit for actors to realize that we can be less theatrical and more nuanced and still deliver a more real, if you will,
performance.
Right. It's all because you're working within a certain frame.
Because you definitely can see watching this. This has a very theater-like presentation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A lot of movies did back then. Most movies did. Most talkies did back then, And again, it depends on the movie. Some were more than others, but certainly as film, the motion picture became more popular and more understood, and the technicalities of how to make a movie were more understood, and it just evolved.
Yep. I think you got a super.
Darren Sand says you'd have to work on the English accent and fuck up your teeth before you can be. Darren, I'll drink to that, you fucker. That's funny. Darren's British, by the way, folks. So that's even extra funny. Oh, Darren,
I think you had a super chat. I don't want to miss that.
Nick, super chat from Nick says, a great one to watch right after This Is Ed Wood. Oh, right. Yeah, Ed Wood. Yeah.
Oh, that's Johnny Depp.
There's a movie based on Ed Wood starring Johnny Depp. Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Ed Wood was a real guy. He was a...
Yeah.
Look at that shot of them on that fucking staircase.
And that's
oh my God.
It's only a set.
That is beautiful.
Great. This is what you call beautiful negative space.
Yes.
With leading lines of the staircase. That's for 1931. Someone really thought that shot out thoroughly.
What a terrific way. 100%, Tony. What a terrific way to give perspective and scale, right? Yep. You're giving the room scale and the actors scale, because they probably are getting scale in terms of their salaries. But I'm talking about their like the scale in terms of the size. What a great look at this. Look at him reaching. Oh, he's got him by the neck. We're seeing it. And the scream, that was great. That, I think, is the first time in this movie that we actually see him grab onto the well, no, we saw him grab the woman, but certainly a scream like that right there. That was great. That was really good. Looks like the guy ran into the door. I love it.
Ramsgate. What's Ramsgate? I missed something.
Swifty the Gamer says Tony's beard has more character than Tina in Halloween 5.
I just saw that. It does. It's taking on a life of its own.
I love it. And the castle, I think, where Vlad was, Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Dracula.
I think it's still there.
I think it's still there.
I think you're right.
Yep. I think, anyway. God, that castle's like 500 years old then or something like that. It's insane.
If not older.
If not older. Oh, yeah, probably older.
What is the Ramsgate? I feel like I'm out of the fucking loop. I don't know what
Ramsgate.
Yeah. Did the Rams do something? I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm thinking like Ramsgate. I'm thinking something. That's where my mind is going with it. Like Deflategate, Watergate,
Pizzagate,
Ramsgate,
two dudes and some bullshit gate. No, I don't know.
Tony Gate, Dave Gate,
Tony Gate, chat room gate. Give me a piece of stone. Anything. Hey, you fucker. This is great. I think men should start dressing like this again. I think we all should start dressing in suits and fedoras like we did in the 30s.
I always wondered why, like when you look at even pictures from the through the 1950s, really, people still, even when they casually dress, they dress nice. Like I look at a lot of old street photography from that day, like Vivian Marr and whatnot, and I look at the way people were dressed, just hanging out on the streets, and they were dressed nice. I don't know why we stopped doing that, to be honest with you.
That's culture, an evolution of culture and fashion.
So we just decided to dress like whores.
Well, you can thank the 60s.
Dressing classy to dress like whores.
You can thank the Beatles in the 60s for that. The British invasion. No, it's not just the Beatles, but certainly the 60s there was a transition from the nuclear family into a more liberated society, right? Yeah, for sure. 100%. This woman, she wants out. Sad to think these people are dead now, you know?
Yeah, well, we're heading there one day.
We are. Sad. Every one of us is going to die.
Up in the same place.
Miserably. How pathetic is that? What a waste. Do what you want to do. Just do what you want to do and get it done. Just get it done.
Exactly. Do what you want to do and get it fucking done.
Because you're going to fucking die anyway. So just fucking do it.
Exactly. You can live your life in fear or go live your fucking life.
Jesus, according to this, I only got like, it's almost over.
It is almost over.
And here comes, look at them walking up the staircase there with the fog or the smoke and the light coming in. Look at the scale.
The cinematography. I mean, again, for 1931, man, this is fucking, or probably 1930s when they actually filmed this.
And that's it.
31.
The end.
Very simple ending.
Very simple ending. You know? It's a universal picture.
Universal
yeah.
Picture.
Wow.
No music. Is there music?
No music. No music on my end. And there it is, folks. That's
it.
Bela Lugosi in Dracula from 1931. Very cool indeed. I gotta say, man, that was great. I haven't seen that in a long time, and that was really good to revisit. And of course, a movie that's only about an hour and 10 minutes long. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Now we get to the questions.
Let's get to some questions. Let's head over to the chat room and get to some questions. Ladies and germs, let's do this. Yeah. If you smell, I do that, and then I get a ton of messages from people asking me about WWE and wrestling and Roman Reigns and Kikabagoo and Chingalalala and Chulalibi, and I'm just like, just because I went if you smell it doesn't mean I'm a big wrestling fan. You know, it's people like Dave Butts love wrestling, and I don't even know who the hell Roman Reigns is or Chickabaloo Blue Boom Boom or Hinka Haka Haka or what. I don't know, folks. I haven't watched wrestling in a long time. That is my reference from 1998. That's why I did that. So don't take that to mean
back when Chumbawamba ruled the world.
There you go. Back when I wanted that way. Actually, I think that was a year later.
Let me tell you something, folks. You don't know what fucking fighting is like until you have fucking raging teenage girls who are fighting over NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Okay?
Oh yes,
I seen some fucked up shit back in the day.
Right.
Oh,
that's right.
God.
That's it. I mean, folks.
Violently too, man. I don't know what it was like up in Canada, but the girls down here, woo, they got violent with that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Real violent with that shit.
Oh yeah, it was the same. It was the same. It was the same. Travis Lauderbaugh. Am I saying that right, Travis? Phonetically spell it out for me if I'm saying it wrong. Dave and Tony, what are the thoughts on Nosferatu. I was going to say Nosferatu, but it's Nosferatu, right? 1922. I find to be the creepier than Dracula. That is one, I know what you're talking about. That's one I haven't seen. Have you seen that, Tony?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I watch maybe every couple of years. Definitely one that I think we should do on the show sometime. It definitely is tough because it's a silent film.
Right.
Although, I mean, I don't know what people are doing on their end, but my sound on the movie is usually really down. I don't really rely on the sound too much when we do the live stream.
Same. Yeah. I have it up, but it's on a lower thing.
Down the road, maybe we can go to it. But I love it. I agree with him. The overall look of Nosferatu, I love. Next to Lon Chaney Sr.'s Phantom of the Opera. That to me, Phantom, in my opinion, only I like that look better as far as an iconic, makeup look than Nosferatu. But again, for 1922, what they did, phenomenal fucking job. Real fucking phenomenal job.
Very cool. Very cool. Darren Sand says, what's the worst Dracula film? The worst Dracula film I've seen. I like Christopher Lee's portrayal.
Interview with the Vampire. I fucking hate that shit.
It's because it was let's get two hot young studs together and put them in Dracula outfits and let the women go crazy. I mean, that's what that was.
That shit.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is all right. I mean, it's not bad. It's all right. I'm not super crazy about it.
Yeah.
Vampires. John Carpenter's Vampires is with James Woods is pretty decent.
I haven't seen that in years.
It is what it is.
What about that one with Eddie Murphy? Vampire in Brooklyn or something?
Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
Man.
Dusk Till Dawn's a great one. And I don't know if you count that as a vampire movie or not. I do. But
yeah. Twilight.
We should do From Dusk Till Dawn one night.
And
we should do Carpenter's Vampires. What the fuck? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Michael King says, did you say Interview with the Vampire, Tony? He did.
Yes, I did.
Ryan Healy says...
Not what I thought it was when I went to go see it. Trust me.
Yeah, Dave and Tony, if you could bring back one old school horror icon from that era, who would it be and why? Well, again, I think Dracula is an interesting character. I think the Wolfman is an interesting character.
I love Frank, though. It's hard for me to not go to Frank right away.
Frankenstein?
I'm a big fan of Bella's Frankenstein. Really am. That's my favorite from the genre.
There we go. Lauderbaugh. Okay, so I'm close. Thank you, Travis Lauderbaugh. Let's see. Chris Lawson says Dracula Dead and Loving It is really good. Oh, with Liam Neeson. Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie, yeah.
Leslie Nielsen. Yes. Oh, good Canadian guy. Good old Canadian. Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Oh, he was so funny. Man, he was so funny. And he didn't start out that way. He was probably always funny, but he started out as a dramatic actor, and it wasn't until Airplane, his Shirley, you can't be serious, I am serious, don't call me Shirley, that moment, which really sort of people, it propelled him into this, and then of course he had the short-lived Police TV show that launched him into the Naked Gun movie series, and then through the late 80s and most of the 90s he was doing all these spoofs like Dracula Dead and Loving It, Mr. Magoo, Spy Hard, Naked Gun 1, 2, and 3, and he was so funny. So funny. The king of deadpan delivery being hilarious has got to be Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, hands down. No argument. Hands down.
It was so good.
At Dave McRae from Nick, the new Batman got bumped to October 21st. Do you think Halloween Kills will be bumped also due now to the Cape Crusader coming out and so close to Mikey? I don't think it would. Wait.
The new Batman.
The Robert Pattinson Batman got moved to 2021, which I thought it was coming out next year. No, it is, 2021.
Next year is 2021. I was just going to say, it's not coming out this year. They're still shooting it. So it was never supposed to be coming out in October of 2020. So if the Batman movie,
what year we were in,
if the Batman movie is coming out in October 2021, then I would say that's probably when it was supposed to, unless it was supposed to be a summer release and they've pushed it. But if they have pushed it, I don't think they would have pushed it because of COVID-19. I think it would have been pushed for another reason. Now, look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Halloween Kills, whether Halloween Kills gets moved or will depend on what happens over the next couple of months. Because right now we were in March, we're in April, we're almost in May. Movies that were being released in June and July are now being moved into the fall. If we get to the middle of May, end of May, beginning of June, right? And nothing has changed. If we get to the end of June and nothing has changed, that's when you'll start to see movies in September and October potentially beginning to move. Now, the reason for that is for a couple of reasons. Number one is to get the economy back and going. There's no doubt that there's going to be it's not a switch, because it's been off for so long. You have to, it's a phase. So, maybe they might open up a few, some restaurants, and then the next, couple of weeks after that, a mall or two may open up. And then the next couple of weeks, there probably will be several months of phasing, depending where you are in the world.
Phasing, but you got the psychological effect of those who are freaked 100%. Out by all this. They're not going to be going into public places.
100%. So, and of course, that's not everybody, but certainly there will be people that, as Tony said, that will be like that. And then, of course, you have to keep in mind that usually a movie needs at least minimum 3 months to ramp up marketing. So Halloween's not going to drop their trailer. If they were going to drop their trailer in April, they're not doing it now. No. If they were going to drop their trailer in May, they might still do it, depending on what happens between now and May. But I don't see, I think this thing's going to go on for the next couple of months. And I think that it isn't going to be, like, I was having a conversation with Bruce, my buddy Bruce. We had a production meeting for It's Me, Billy on Saturday. And of course, for those of you that don't know, Bruce works for White's here in Canada, which is the nickname they give to William F. White International. It's Canada's largest distributor of motion picture and television lighting and grip gear. So Bruce has his pulse on the industry really well. And he was saying that because White's, of course, has been reaching out to, Netflix and Disney and I was going to say Fox. That's pretty much, Disney, Warner Brothers, everybody, all of the productions that White supplies gear for, which is many Hollywood productions, because they shoot up here in Toronto and Vancouver all the time. The consensus is right now that the industry is hoping to start ramping up production again in July. Now, what that means is that that's when they start getting things going again. So, they start moving into pre-production again and hopefully starting to shoot things again come September or October. So when you think of movies that are already in the bag, so to speak, like Halloween Kills is essentially, it has an October 16th, 2020 release date. Well, they're not going to drop the trailer. They need about a 3-month window to ramp up marketing. So if come July, we're still in the same spot, that trailer ain't going to be released. I'd be stunned if they released a trailer because they don't know if the movie's coming out in October. That movie may not come out until March or maybe next October, and they may hold off on it. So we're not going to know. We're going to know more when it comes to the I'd say the end of May, beginning of June, where we're at. But if the numbers are going up and New York is seeing more deaths and Canada's numbers are going up and we're better than we were, but we're still kind of there. I think you're going to start to see movies getting pushed in the fall. But we'll see. But keep in mind that, they don't just arbitrarily drop a trailer. They don't just arbitrarily, they need time to market a movie, and because they spend a lot of money on it. And so it is possible that if we get to the summer and we're not any better, then it's more likely that it'll be moved.
Okay, let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. Everything that's going on is all like legit. We're not being bullshit to and lied to, like I believe, but we'll play devil's advocate for a moment. If people are worried about being near one another, people aren't going to just get together all of a sudden because the media turned around the next day and said, hey, everything's fine, go back to work. No, of course not. This thing's not going to fucking go anywhere until there's, a vaccine or some type of a cure out there. So if, again, devil's advocate, if everything that's going on is legit and we're not being fucking dicked around here, nothing's going to return to normal for a fucking long ass time, because it would make no sense to all of a sudden to put people in fucking populated situations with this thing still fucking looming out there, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, for sure.
If there's no cure, you can't just, like you just said, you can't flip a switch and be like, okay, well, yeah, we're telling you it's fine now. It just magically disappeared.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's the psychological ramifications of that as well, and people who are will be afraid to go to the malls, afraid to go to the movie theaters, and there's no doubt that it will affect, and it has affected the film industry as well, and for a production like Dylan's New Nightmare or It's Me, Billy, I mean, we both will have crews of maybe about 15-20 people, but and I just spoke to the actresses yesterday, and they're still really excited, and they're all hunkered down in their homes too. It's not like nobody can do anything. We're all just kind of waiting, and of course we haven't been able to launch our campaign yet because of that. And but for us, we're smaller production, so if we can raise the money and things are open, the likelihood of us going to camera and making it work is more possible. But if you are a gigantic major motion picture with a crew of 150 people, I mean, there could be a lot of people on that crew that aren't comfortable, and who knows what's going to happen. Crews could be working, shorthanded for a little bit, depending on whether or not, Susie Q and John feel comfortable about going back to work. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But I do know that if you want to know if Halloween Kills is going to be delayed, right now I think it's on track. But if we're in the same spot come June or July, I think it's more likely that it's going to get pushed. Now, where it gets pushed to is anybody's game at the moment, but I think it's more likely.
like you said, again, the psychological damage that's being done. I'm sure I would love to talk to your girlfriend about this, because I'm sure she loves getting into the psychology of this shit.
Yeah.
The trickle down effect from this, because like I said, all of a sudden, May 1st comes around and they're like, well, we're going to start reopening shit up again. Okay, but what's the prognosis? You're saying we can open up and go into these places, but have we found a cure? No. So, okay. So that means if I'm to believe what you're telling me is true, and there's this deadly virus out there that I can easily contract, why am I going to fucking go into a movie theater, run the risk of fucking sitting next to people and getting this thing? And you're going to have a lot of people who fucking think that way. That's why I'm saying, dude, I just think we're fucking being lied to, and this is all fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's a very
shit
tricky.
It's just not adding up.
It's a look. There's going to be people that are going to rush out. There's going to be people that are not going to. It all depends on where you are. It's all very person specific. But we do know that it's not going to be on the news. You're not going to hear dun 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 dun. This is a CNN breaking news. And then you're going to see, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dave McRae. I want to let you guys know that the coronavirus COVID-19 situation is over. Tomorrow, all malls, all movie theaters, all restaurants, all parks, they're all going to be open tomorrow, folks. Rush out there. The beaches are open. Get the fuck out there and enjoy your life. It's not going to happen like that.
But I think
it's not going to happen.
Legitimately think that's what's going to happen.
Right. Well, but it's not. And so there's going to be a phasing. I mean, we've spent the last month phasing out. We're going to spend at least once, a couple of months phasing in. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's, it's a very interesting time, and it's inconvenient for everybody. It's frustrating. It's annoying. But it's happening, and we're just rolling with the punches and doing the best we can under the circumstances.
I don't think Halloween Kills is coming out this year. My gut
may not. It may not.
The only way they could do it at this point is the movies that have been completed. Okay, now totally done. They don't need to go back and do any pickup shots, reshoots, none of that shit. Totally done.
Yeah.
You could go straight to video to release and hopefully pick up, as much as you fucking can. I mean, that's really that's your best bet. And the only thing Blumhouse has going for them with Halloween Kills is that's a $20 million budget that I think they can pick up easily back in video sales or digital or DVD sales. I think they could totally pick up what they invested into the production. So
yeah,
there is that going for them, but obviously I know they want to.
If you have a movie that is a smaller budget, and obviously smaller meaning you're saying 10 million, 15, 20, it's always, I mean, if the intention was to release it theatrically, especially when it's a sequel to a movie that made $250 million at the box office, you want to release that sequel theatrically, because that's where you're going to make that $250 million. We don't live in a world yet where movies can make that kind of money on VOD yet. But that doesn't mean that that's not happening. And one of the major reasons for that, of course, is, when you go to the movie theater, everybody has to pay individually for a ticket. I can I can spend $20 on renting a movie and invite 30 of my friends over, and right away, they're losing cash. So, but if you have a movie like Halloween or a movie like The Invisible Man or something like that, you want to keep that in the theater as long as possible, but because you still will lose money, because you can buy, one ticket for the price of, 9, depending on how many people you invite over. But you can make it's easier to recoup your costs a little bit. It's because you haven't spent as much, but of course you have to factor in marketing and all that kind of jazz too. But yeah, I mean, I don't think Universal doesn't want to release that movie to VOD. They don't want to do that. They want to release that theatrically. So I personally think that what will happen is that Halloween, if it does get pushed, will not go to VOD. It will get pushed. It will get pushed to October 2021, and then you'll have Halloween Ends October 2022. I know some people have said, well, what about releasing it in the same year? That has rarely been done before. And there are some people saying that you could release it in the same month, release it one at the beginning of October, one at the end of October. Yeah, but that that's not going to happen because it's just a bad business move. You have to also market these movies as well. Let's not forget that. And your box office would be eating into each other. You could release one in March and one in October. You know, they did that with Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 in 1989 and 90 respectively, but it's not something that's common, and I just don't think they're going to do that. I think the probability is if we get to the summer and we're maybe a little bit better, but things are still kind of shitty, and you know, I think Halloween will just get pushed. I think Halloween will get pushed like a lot of movies have been delayed a year, you know, and it's a movie you can do, you know, and I would be surprised if Universal took it to streaming. I'd be surprised.
Now, I just want to clarify on something what Nick Townsend saying here. He's saying, Tony, I know some people working in the field and these people are sick and there's no reason to lie to me. I'm not lying to you. What I'm saying is in the grander scale, bigger picture thing that we are being lied to on what this thing really is. There's things that just don't add up. For example, like I was telling this the day before we went live. Okay, currency still being passed around. You know, when I give this money over to somebody tomorrow, they're going to put it in their cash register and they're eventually going to pass it to someone else. My point is that if this thing is as deadly and is as easily contracted and transmittable as they're saying, things like currency should fucking stop. Grocery stores should be shut down. You guys remember, and Dave knows this, I did that big documentary last year with Publix, the grocery store, 3-month project. If you all fuckers knew the amount of people that touch your food and products before it actually reaches the grocery store, not counting the people in the grocery store that pick up the product on a daily basis and look at it and go, I don't want it, and put it back on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So there's just shit that just, I'm not saying there's not anything, that I'm not saying that there's not something out there that's getting people sick and killing people. Yes. But the truth of it, I think we're being fucking lied to big time, because like I said, shit ain't fucking adding up. And so that's what I'm saying to you, like Nick, I'm not saying that it's not true. There is something, but what we're being told, I think is bullshit.
Yeah, and folks, listen, I mean, you know, Tony is entitled to feel that way. I'd be lying if I didn't think that there were some unusual decisions that have been made that make me question and make me think, well, that's interesting. And you know, that's not to say that there isn't a virus. It's not to say that there isn't a virus that is attacking people and that people are not dying from the virus. But there are certain decisions that have been made, you know, that make me go, interesting.
Things that make you
know
go,
if that's just certain things, you know, that make you kind of go, interesting. And I think, you know, to have a conversation, I think it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I think everybody can speak maturely and have a good conversation about those things. And I think the important thing is that it should always be acceptable to ask questions and to kind of go, well, that's interesting. You know, I wonder about that, or, you know, I wonder about this. I mean, certainly there is a virus going around. We know that. But there are certain things that have happened that make me go, well, that's interesting, you know, and I've been around, I mean, I'm not old, but I've been around long enough to, you know, experience a few things in my life and go, that's interesting. And then there's been a few things that I've, in my own mind, said, now that's probably going to be next. And it does happen. And I go, well, that's interesting, you know, and there's just, there's interesting things, you know, and, but certainly
it's bigger, you know what I mean? It's not, like you said, there is something out there and it's affecting people, but when you're saying that there's this deadly contagious virus that we can easily pass and transmit to one another, but you're going to keep grocery stores open where people are going to come in and out of and touch things, but shut down a mall, which in essence, a mall is the same thing. It's stores that you go into and you buy products where there are people, just like a grocery store. You're telling me one thing is okay, but another is not okay.
Right. I think the argument to that people would say is that one is essential and one isn't, right? They'd say food
I get the essential
is obviously
part of it,
essential.
But in essence, it's products. You're touching products that are being touched by other people. And there's no guarantee that box of cereal that you're picking up in your hands, how do you know who touched it?
Right.
You know
No, it's true.
Do you know
it's
what
true.
I mean?
Yep.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying like, and don't misinterpret me. I'm not saying that this thing isn't legit. It is legit. I just think there's a fucking bigger picture and we're fucking being lied to. And a lot of shit's not coming out. That shit, like the names, you know what I mean? Like, why are we not getting the names of like Jan Smith who died? If I knew who Jan Smith was and me and Dave interacted with each other, don't you think it'd be beneficial for me to know like, hey, I know this person, Dave, and she got it. I'm going to go get checked out. And Dave, I think you should go get checked out as well too. Like, that's how you fucking put a stop to it. But it's odd that we're not getting the names of these fucking people. And in 1918, they fucking printed out all the names in the Washington Post for the Spanish flu.
There you go, folks. There you go. It's and it is important again, to listen to what Tony's saying in terms of his position, right? Don't misinterpret what he's saying. Don't put words into his mouth. It's important to to have an intelligent and rational conversation back and forth. It's healthier for everybody. Darren Sands brings up a good point here. He says, out of all the studios, Universal have already pushed for theatrical releases to VOD, direct or early, more than any other studio. Emma, The Hunt, Invisible Man, and Trolls. Now, I believe Emma the Hunt and Invisible Man.
Invisible Man's Rent.
Yes, yeah. Emma the Hunt and Invisible Man were original films, but Trolls is a sequel, and that's a good point. And Trolls is something that they have already lost money on. So it's entirely possible that they could push Halloween to VOD, to rent. Absolutely. Darren brings up a good point, how Universal has done that more than any other studio. But I don't know. I still think, with a first movie that made $250 million at the box office, that's something that, and statistically sequels don't make as much as their predecessors. But I think, generally speaking, it doesn't mean there hasn't been one that ever. I mean, generally speaking, certainly in the horror genre, I still would be surprised. But you could be right, because Universal is certainly showing that they are willing to do that. And maybe they will do that with Halloween. Certainly at October would be a good time to do that. I mean, because it's a sequel and because it's a movie called Halloween, if you release it to VOD in October, the probability goes up then that you're going to make more bank on that movie in October and in November than you would if you release it on VOD in March or April. I mean, the Halloween movie is very connected to the time of year and to the season. So because it's October and Halloween time, that only, of course, bodes well for sales. But will it make, $200 million back on the VOD? I don't know. They probably will have to cut their, but they've already cut their losses with Trolls as well, but it's a good point. And it shows that they're not afraid to do it, which is a good point. Reese Wilson sends in a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, the cinema company I work for in Australia is projecting we may open again in September, latest if we are lucky. We need those blockbusters, and they are all getting pushed back. I know AMC theaters in the US said that they're hoping July.
Yeah, I saw that announcement.
Cineplex, which is essentially our AMC here in Canada, they're closed, of course, too. But I haven't read anything. I haven't heard anything about when they think. I think Cineplex is probably sort of watching what AMC's doing and what
everybody's doing. Everyone's watching what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I agree. I mean, listen, nothing's going to change for the rest of this month. I think the month of May is a write-off. I don't think, well, I can certainly tell you that Bruce and I will not be launching our Indiegogo campaign in May. That's just not going to happen. The earliest that we'll be able to launch our campaign will probably be June. And then, of course, the campaign will run for, a month or two. That'll bring us to August. And we were planning on shooting It's Me, Billy, or wanting to shoot It's Me, Billy. But again, it depends if we can raise the money for it. So, folks, if you're watching, we're really going to, need your help with that. In November.
Swift Gamer here asked an awesome question. You got to answer this.
Okay, I will in a second. But in November, so we were hoping to shoot in November, but that may not happen. And then, of course, if we have to push our production date, which we can, I mean, we can shoot It's Me, Billy in November. We probably wouldn't shoot it in December because that's the month that's the holidays and everybody's kind of, we might be able to shoot it in January, February, or March, and it would still sort of give that Christmas vibe. But it all depends if everybody's schedules line up, right? I mean, I could find out that our lead actress isn't available in January, February because she's shooting something else. I mean, so it's a very tricky thing, but we'll see. Our goal right now with It's Me, Billy is to be as prepared as possible as we possibly can. I said that weird, but anyway, I think you know what I mean. To be as prepared as we possibly can so that when things begin to start up again, we can sort of hit the switch on the campaign goes live and everything's ready. So we're just sort of waiting, the campaign's ready to go. We hit the switch and boom, there it is. And then of course, but also, I mean, people are also feeling the effects and fallout financially of losing their jobs and being laid off. Now, the good news is that a lot of people who have lost their jobs are receiving a stimulus package. The good news is that those, not everybody, but many people who have lost their jobs do know that it's temporary and that they will be going back to work again. So that is always a good thing. I mean, screw my campaign. That's a good thing for them personally as a family and, all that, which is really good. But it's a tricky thing, so we're not going to put all our eggs into one basket. We're going to be, utilizing other things to raise funds for the movie, but, it's a tricky thing. And if we're feeling the effects of it, a little independent production, I can only imagine what is going on the multi-million-dollar level. So it's tricky. What's the thing you wanted me to, sorry,
Swifty Gamer said, did you see that drive-in theaters are doing good business because of this virus? I wouldn't be shocked if you saw a revival in drive-in theaters because of this.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
I do know they are doing, I do know that. Yeah, there's a couple of drive-in theaters up here in the Toronto area, and I saw some article the other day, I think in the Toronto Star or somewhere I saw it. I forget where I saw it now, or maybe it was online. It was probably online. It was on Facebook. I don't know. It was packed.
Yeah,
it was packed.
I wouldn't be surprised if you saw across the country that you might see a revival of new drive-in theaters popping up again, and that becoming maybe the new norm of the way people go and watch movies.
That's right. Yeah.
That's how I would. Honestly, I got to tell you right now, that's how I would go and do it. As much as I will sit there and say that I don't believe everything that's being said, and I think a lot of what's being said about this virus is fake, I'm also not going to fucking chance it either and put myself in a fucking big ass theater, but I will definitely go to a fucking drive-in.
It'd be really cool.
Kick back and fucking watch it.
Dude, it'd be really cool if we lived within a stone's throw of each other. It'd be really cool, dude, for us to go to a drive-in, but the drive-in's playing like, I don't know, it's playing a double feature. It's playing let's say Back to the Future followed by Poltergeist. Wouldn't that be fucking awesome to watch at the drive-in?
Oh my God. All these movies would be great.
Well, modern movies would be great, of course, but old school movies, that I actually saw Back to the Future in the drive-in in 1985. I think that would be cool to see again. That was when they had the speaker on the outside of the car and you had to roll down your window to hear it. Oh my goodness. Tiger Man says, Tony, did you hear your governor said he is opening up some businesses early? That's the governor of Georgia?
Yeah, Kemp, man, that dude's a stoner. Like I said, the logic decisions that this dude has been making, just like I said, that's why I'm on the side of this, that I'm very skeptical and on the fence of shit's just not fucking adding up, because you're telling me one thing and yet you're doing whatever.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
I saw that Kemp is opening up a lot of the businesses and shit again. So
we're still shut down here. Michael King says Jaws for the next Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Not yet. We're waiting till the summer, the 4th of July, essentially, is when we will do Jaws. Tony and I have we have things sort of laid out, and we have ideas of when we're going to do certain things in certain times, which is why we haven't done Jaws yet. Joseph Esposito says, hey guys, what are your favorite Twilight Zone episodes? Oh man, I don't know. I have to brush up on my Twilight Zone.
It's not one that I can recall that quickly, because it's not one that I spent a lot of time watching.
Right. Yeah. I gotta brush. I love it, but I gotta brush up on it.
For me, I don't know about you. Twilight's always I have to be in the mood to watch it. To really get into
for
it
sure.
It's not something that I pop on just like I would say Psycho or something like that from that era. Twilight Zone is just I gotta be in the mood.
I got you. Corey Dean says, Dave and Tony, out of these films, which is the best? The Conjuring, Insidious, Hereditary. Well, I always say, absolutely. I always say, what are we measuring? You know, or is it just what ones we like the most, right? But is it what is the best? Like what's the scariest? What is the best cinematography? What is the best music? I would say out of those three, what I like the best, they're very different. I mean, Conjuring and Insidious are more similar to each other than Hereditary. Hereditary is a psychological thriller. Insidious is a demon horror film, and so is The Conjuring. So Hereditary is sort of the, you know, like one of these things is not like the other kind of thing. Hereditary is more not quite Hollywood. It doesn't have quite the sheen on it, the shine. I would say out of those movies, it depends on my mood. I mean, Conjuring is probably the better movie experience. When you look at a movie watching experience,
Okay,
Hereditary is very cerebral, and Hereditary's only going to, it's a great fucking movie. But it's going to appeal to some people and bore others because it's layered. And it's quite cerebral. So it's sort of, you know, it's not a general movie-going experience.
Can I ask you this about Hereditary really quick? Do you find yourself, you still watch it, like even I do to this day, like it's almost like you uncover something new every time you fucking watch it, like, oh shit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's a layered psychological thriller. I mean, it's like The Shining in the sense of that it's layered and you know, there's a cerebral angle to it. So, you know, it's a thinking man's movie, so to speak, right? So, you know, there are people that are going to love The Shining because they love that kind of thing, and there are people that don't because they don't get it. They need more of a mainstream kind of thing. So The Conjuring is sort of the Conjuring is that mainstream appeal to most people, cookie cutter. And when I say cookie, I'm not saying it's lame. I'm saying it's your, you know, there's not a lot of, you know, you don't have to think, you know, you don't have to, you know, it's not a thinking man's movie. It's pretty straightforward, but it's really well done because it's done by a guy who implements the right kind of mood and atmosphere, you know, the right kind of suspense. It's based on that true story, quote unquote. And it's great cinematography. It's a movie that a general audience will have a fun time watching, and it's a really good movie. Hereditary is a really good movie, but it's a little more highbrow than The Conjuring, so it's a little deeper, right? Or it could be perceived as highbrow. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And Insidious sort of falls in the I love Insidious.
That's why I was surprised you didn't say Insidious, because you know where I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know. Yeah. I'm just trying to go with but I like to kind of, for me, it would depend on my mood, right? I can't really pick one because they're very different from each other. You know, The Conjuring is one I can sit and watch no matter what mood I'm in. Yeah. But Hereditary, I have to be in the mood because of the kind of movie it is. And then Insidious leans a little more towards The Conjuring in terms of it's more of a general kind of audience thing. So that would be my answer to that. Yeah, and then of course, you know, Tony, I know, is going to hit the Conjuring like a.
It's The Conjuring, of course. But I started off by saying, and this is true.
But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Between how kind of they're all sort of.
I think on that, again, with any question of better, again, it's subject to your opinion. I'm a huge fan of The Conjuring. It's in my top 10 favorite movies, horror movies of all time. It's a movie I watch every 60 to 90 days. It's going to be in my cycle of movies that, like Dave said, I can throw it on any fucking time while I'm editing shit, or if I'm playing, you know, games or something. It's one of those go-to, throw it on, fucking have it on in the background or whatever. It's there. I enjoy it. It's well made. Hereditary, like Dave said, it's a layered fucking movie. And every time I watch it now, I feel like I'm peeling back something new. And I like that about, you know, movies like that really fucking open up my mind and go, fuck. But
Yeah.
Insidious is great too. You know, we just watched it here, you know, for
great
me
movie.
for the first time. I hadn't seen it in 8 years, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that it's a bad movie. It's just not a movie that it's in my heavier rotation like The Conjuring is. So I think
Right.
it comes down to really you, the individual. That's why I thought you were easily going to go with Insidious. I really did.
No, I can't. I like them all for various different reasons.
Yeah.
But I think, look, if I had to pick one that I would go to the most, no, it probably would be The Conjuring, because it's like Insidious, but more. You know what I mean? So it's Insidious, but on steroids a bit, but not in a bad way. I don't mean in a gratuitous way. It's taken, you know what I mean? And it's done by the same guy. It's directed by the same guy. Although I really like Insidious's opening credit sequence. Fuck, that's amazing opening credit sequence. But I will say that The Conjuring is more of a thing that I think I can just get into any time. So it's more likely that it will be that. But Hereditary, that's a good movie. Hereditary is a good movie. It's like saying, like, The Exorcist is one of those movies that is not, it's not something you just throw on. You know what I mean? The Exorcist is more of a highbrow sort of, you know, not quite thinking man, but it's more of that, you know, a little, you know what I mean? It's not something you just toss on. You know, you got to be kind of in the right mood for The Exorcist. But The Conjuring is almost as good of a horror movie as you can get that's mainstream. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know,
right.
in terms of a general appeal, most general appeal horror movies are shit. Fucking garbage. The Conjuring is like almost as good as you can get for a general thing, which is good.
And for the record, folks who were watching it at that moment, I wasn't laughing at Dave when he was talking seriously.
Oh, he was.
I was trying to hold back what Frank wrote on his super chat, and that's why I started to giggle there for a moment. When
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see this. Super chat comes in from Aaron Anderson. Thank you so much, buddy. Says Governor Abbott in Texas is wanting to open stuff back up while my country still has a number of cases rising exponentially. I voted for the guy, but this is an idiotic decision. Enjoy, you guys, and stay safe. Yeah, there's a lot of definite, very interesting things happening in the United States. Of course, the states, of course, being, you know, I mean, like 5 times the population of Canada, and or maybe a little, about 5 times. And obviously there's more states than there are provinces. There's more governors than there are premiers. For those of you that don't know, the premier of a province here in Ontario would be like your state governor. So I get the sense that because we're a smaller country, not by land, but in terms of population and stuff, I think all the provinces are on the same page. I think all the premiers are on the same page. I don't get any sort of real pull from one way to another. But then again, I mean, you know, because our economies are so interconnected to each other, you know, we're each other's largest trading partner. We're always watching to see what's happening down there and what's going to happen and all that kind of jazz. So it's a crazy time, and you just kind of have to take care of yourself. The best thing we can all do is make decisions that are informed, so we can just, you know, do what we have to do and not make those knee-jerk reactions out of fear. That's what I don't want. Like, I see people sort of, you know, online losing their minds. It's like, no, calm down. Let's make these, you know, let's not lose our minds here. You know, you don't want to make any unnecessary knee-jerk reactions that is going to inadvertently put you and somebody else more in harm's way than not. You know what I mean? So thank you for the super chat, though, man. Really appreciate it. Frank Riker's super chat says, D&T just got done lathering up Blum with sanitizer. And he told me Kills will be released this year on Laserdisc only and ends on 8-track. But a Judith prequel is in the works after. Oh, Frank, we needed that. We needed that, Frank. Frank, you are the man. Good old Frank gets the... that's funny, man. That's a lathering. I'm just picturing Frank Riker lathering up Jason Blum with sanitizer.
Blum probably enjoying the shit out of it.
He might enjoy it. He might be.
He probably would.
He might be enjoying it. I'm just saying he might be. Let's take this thing to 9:30. Let's see here. Let's see. Jason Ike says, gotta go, guys. Gonna fish up a movie I started last night. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe, Jason. Thank you very much, buddy. Moderator of the channel. The Film Addict says, hey, Tony, I know you're a big fan of Nirvana. Or Nirvana, depending on how you want to say it. How do you feel about the Kurt Cobain death conspiracy? Do you think Courtney was involved? Just curious how you feel. Oh, there you go. Courtney killed him. Courtney killed him.
There's no conspiracy. Courtney killed him.
Ooh, can you give us a little insight? Now, I know all about this too, but can you give us an insight why you think that?
I think she really fucked with him. And whether she pulled the trigger is neither here nor there, but I definitely think she played a big part to him going over to the edge to that point.
I gotcha. So whether she actually pulled the trigger or not, she definitely had the psychological ramifications that she played into his depression and anxiety. You think is huge.
Absolutely, because we all know. I mean, it goes back to his childhood. There, that Kurt Cobain battled with that, and he was very open about it even back then. Like that's why I think I really gravitated to Nirvana, because I was like, wow, there's this big, superstar talking about his anxiety and shit, and I'm like, fuck, I can totally fucking relate to that. That's like, wow, you know what I mean? And I think Courtney Love fucking played it into that, which ultimately ended up, again, I'm not saying she pulled the trigger, but she might as well have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I understand. No, I understand. Let me see here. But
Brian Healy,
Darren
David Tony, favorite Friday the 13th movie in the series. Mine is part 2.
Friday 13th, part 2. My favorite Friday 13th is the original. Darren Sand says, I'd like a Phelps Garage prequel. Darren, my man, Darren. That would be funny. That would be a Phelps Garage prequel. That would be so funny. That would be great. That would be great. Darren, we love you. Darren's great. Sometimes Darren and Frank go back and forth with their witty comments. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, while we're at it, why don't we get the Train That Passes By prequel?
A Train That Passes By prequel. Yes. Or let's get on that train and find out where it was going. Hell, let's find out where it was coming from.
And have a shot in the movie where we're watching Donald Pleasance on the phone talking to Haddonfield.
Yes! Yes! It's going by ding, 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 ding.
And you and I are in there. We're like, who's this fucking old dude on the phone?
Exactly. We're sitting there. We're riding a boxcar. We're eating some beans. And the door is open. And we're looking out. We're like, who's that fucking old guy on the phone there? Look at that. Look at that piece of crap right there.
And then dum. Charlie Bowles walks into screen.
Yes, exactly. That would be funny.
Bowles?
I'm going to do an entire video on where that train was going and where that train was coming from.
You should. You really should. Oh my God.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
Where was the Halloween train going?
Where was the Halloween train going, folks?
Was that his name? Charlie Bowles? Is that the guy's name?
Charlie Bowles is the one that the graveyard keeper is like old Charlie. Yeah. SBC Bird 3171993 says, hey guys, which film would you watch on repeat? The Shining or Silence of the Lambs? For me, it would be The Shining.
Shining, same.
Yeah,
easily. I'm not a big Silence fan. Are you? I mean, I watch it, but I'm not like a super fan of it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in many years. I like Silence of the Lambs, but I was never. It was never one that resonated with me, deeply. But then again, I haven't seen it in quite a few years. So maybe since I was in my early 20s. It's been a while. It has been that long.
I got a perfect comedy show for
again.
you. You can do a comedy show. You can call it the Elrods.
The Elrods.
Everything leading up to Mrs. Elrod touching that table and seeing blood.
Yes. And it's like
it could be like an Archie and
Archie Bunny. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like an All in the Family, but it's called the Elrods.
The Elrods.
It's like, you want some mayonnaise on your sandwich again? Are you asleep again? Jesus fucking. See, what you don't know is that she yells at him all the time. Are you fucking stupid? You want some? You damn son of a bitch! She gets a
he's really not asleep. He's
a rolling
pretending.
pin. Yes, exactly. She gets the rolling pin and she like hits him over the head. And he's going, oh fuck, woman. Screaming and yelling, and I don't know how it turned into some abusive.
I'm gonna kill you like that little boy did to his sister.
Oh my, yes! Wow, why are they abusive? I don't know, but
Well, doesn't Alice say that something like she is always picking on him, and he finally got tired of it and hit her? Doesn't she say something like that?
Something like that. You're right. I forgot about that.
It actually works as the story.
Oh my God, you're right. And here's what's funny is that if that's true, wouldn't she be more concerned? I mean, she did go out. She did go outside, go, Mrs. Elrod, Mr. Elrod, is everything okay? I mean, you think she'd go to the door and knock, but no, she had to go back inside and get killed by I don't like that kill. I don't like the kill because it's unnecessary, and you see his eyes, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to see his eyes. I don't want to see his eyes. Frank Riker sends a super chat, says, DT, put Michael in a comedy movie. Which one? I would put him in, I don't know, Home Alone, maybe Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Take on the Steve Martin role. I don't know.
I was thinking that him and Mac going at it. Michael being like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
That's right.
With this kid.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Lawson says that's what Alice said. She's always picking on him. That's why. Yeah. So yeah, you're right, Chris. Because that's what I was. Yeah, Tony's right.
You could make a fun comedy. I call it the Elrods.
The Elrods.
In Haddonfield.
Yeah, or make a show.
There you go. Yeah.
Make like a sitcom. It's a sitcom. DMT Infinity says, Dave, what's your most memorable experience in a theater and what movie did you see? I want to know that one moment that truly made you fall in love with the theater experience. Oh, I don't know if there's one moment that made me fall in love with the theater experience. I do know that I've had a really good time at the theater. And I remember one time, one movie I just had a ball. Now, it could have been because I just got out of a bad relationship. And I needed just to, I needed something like a pick-me-up. It was a good movie, but you're probably going to laugh a little bit and go, really? That you had because it's not something you think of. But I remember in 2004, my buddy Joe at the time, I say at the time, it's not that we're not buddies, but we haven't talked to each other in quite a few years, but we were close at that time. And him and his girlfriend treated me to National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. And I remember walking out of the movie theater thinking I had a really good, it was a fun movie to watch. I had a fun time watching that movie. And there have been other movies that have affected me that way. The Conjuring was one. I had a great time watching The Conjuring. Again, it goes back to that sort of that general, it's going to appeal to a mass audience.
Home Alone was fun seeing that for the first time in theaters. That was a great crowd.
Home Alone.
Everyone laughing and just really, seeing it for the first time on the big screen. That I do remember very vividly. That was a fun experience. Independence Day, the first Independence Day, that was kind of fun. It was a good summer audience. This is back in the 90s with 90s blockbuster summer films. So that was fun.
I remember Jurassic Park as well.
Yeah.
That was a great movie-going experience. I don't think there's a movie that I can think of anyway where there's been a moment where I've consciously thought, oh, I love movie-going experience in theater. I mean, it's just, you just go to the theater. I mean, it probably was when I was a little kid. I mean, I think the first movie I ever saw in the movie theater might have been
probably E.T.
Something like that. Yeah, E.T. or maybe Gremlins. I did see Gremlins at the drive-in in 84.
Drive-in as well too.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm not sure. But there's definitely been movies. Sorry.
The Karate Kid, I do remember. Well, the reason why that was a fun experience, one, my grandfather took me to see it. Two, I don't know if kids were doing this up in Canada, but I was one of the kids, like many, doing the fucking crane outside afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
So we had that type of fun experience, as a kid, seeing the crane, done for the first time and mimicking that for a while until that got old.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there was one defining moment, like you said, though, like where it was like, oh, this is where I love cinema. I just think it's hit or miss. It depends on the movie.
It does. Yep, it absolutely does. Robert Kitzmiller sends in a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Robert. Really appreciate that. Zach Frederick says, Tony, Dave, what do you guys think of a Full House reboot? Wasn't there kind of one? Fuller House? With you, Dave, is the... Oh, I see. With you, Dave, is the funny Uncle Joey who does all the voices, and you, Tony, is the handsome Uncle Jesse. What the fuck's wrong with me, you sack of crap? Get out of here, Zach.
That's why you got the one-liners.
I'm just busting your balls, buddy. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it up. Let's do it up. Let's fucking do it. Write it. Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
And then we'll have quite as good as John Stamos, but
we'll have to make sure that, you know, when we go to the girls to have that talk, that music comes in. We have that heart-to-heart talk, that really sappy, barf baggy type of moment.
Nostalgia.
Very 90s, very 90s. Okay, 2 more. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 2 more. Frank Riker says, I want to be Stephanie.
How rude.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, they did do a reboot, and the Olsen twins were like, "Yeah, we ain't having."
Yeah, well, they're like married. The Olsen, I think they're both married to like billionaires or something. They're fashion.
I think they themselves are like billionaires.
Yeah, they don't have anything. They don't need to do that.
Come on, guys.
Let's see. I see one here. Anthony Scrapula says, Dave, what do you think John Carpenter was saying to himself while he was watching Halloween Resurrection? Absolutely, unequivocally, nothing. Because I don't believe he's ever seen Halloween Resurrection.
I don't even think he's seen Halloween 2. To be quite honest with you.
I have no idea. He might have, if there was any sort of premiere.
With the production.
He was there with the production for sure. If there was any sort of premiere, you know, he may have seen a screening of. He probably has seen a screening of Halloween 2, but he may not have. But that might be the last Halloween he's seen before Halloween 2018.
I think he
I'll
might
be
have
honest
saw
with you.
Season of the Witch to support his boy Tommy.
He may have. Yeah, he may have. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He may have.
Yeah, because him and Tommy Lee Wallace were tight. They were really close friends.
For sure. All right, Tony gets the last one.
He definitely didn't see 4, 5, 6.
No.
None of those.
No, he doesn't give a shit. He just reaps the benefits by getting a check.
And he has said that repeatedly.
Oh, yeah.
That dude is definitely a capitalist. I don't know. I don't see any questions. So
no questions yet. Let's see. Final thoughts, folks. Final thoughts. Are we doing the Jerry Springer final thoughts?
Springer.
You're all tapped out of questions. Tapped out of questions. Darren Sand says Charles Cypher's in charge. Oh, I get it. I see what Darren. Hey, Darren deserves this. There you go. Charles Cypher's in charge of our cops and our town. Really lame. Chris Baber comes in at the last minute, goes hard into the paint. Chris Baber. Here comes Chris Baber up the court. He's showing up the court. Oh my God, this is holy snapping crap. He's got the ball. He goes hard into it. Chris Baber just comes in with a hard into the paint at the last minute. 1 second to go. He shoots it. It's up in the air and nothing but net. Chris, you're amazing. Love you, Chris.
You are, dude. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Chris. Great that you could pop in here. That's always good stuff. All right, I'll take this one. This won't be the last one. We'll still get Tony last one. Lee Bauer says, that Dave McRae, with all the injuries Michael Myers gets, I'm surprised Michael isn't in a wheelchair. You're right. Whatever that evil is inside of him is inside of him and is causing him to remain evil. And just, yeah, he's doing what he does, man. He's doing what he does. Andy E says, concerning Fuller House, I wouldn't want to be Stephanie today. I'd want her in my bed.
Oh. Hey, how come I didn't think of that? Good. Yeah, I'm slow tonight. That's something I would say. I'm rubbing off on you guys.
Yeah, rubbing off. Not the kind of rubbing you're thinking about. Ladies and gentlemen, get your mind out of the gutter.
Tree, do you guys like Mel Gibson films? I just watched The Signs about, not The Signs, but Signs.
Yes.
Not The Signs. Signs.
That's a whole different movie right there. Yeah.
That is a whole different movie. Yeah, Signs. I like Signs a lot. Definitely one of my more likable M. Night films than some of his other ones.
Cool.
Gibson is like, it's like a mood for me with Gibson. Braveheart is cool. Lethal Weapon obviously is Lethal Weapon. It's just fucking iconic. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Gibson's
My
like
favorite,
hit or miss for me.
yeah, my favorite Lethal Weapon movies. My favorite Mel Gibson movies. Definitely the Lethal Weapon series. I quite like him in Bird on a Wire with Goldie Hawn. I thought he was funny in that.
Yeah, that was good.
Good little kind of movie. He's I like him in of course Braveheart, but I mean I also like him in he was in Jesus, why am I blanking on Mel Gibson movies? Let's see here. Mel
he did that What
Gibson.
Women Want with what's her
What
name?
Women Want.
Hunt.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on this? Mel, good old drunk racist Mel. Let's see here. Mad Max, of course. Yeah, he's known for that Air America Hamlet. Forever Young. He was great in Forever Young.
I forgot about that.
Great in Forever Young. Yeah. Conspiracy Theory was kind of funny in.
Conspiracy Theory, I like that. Yeah, with Julia Roberts and him.
Right.
Yeah, that was good.
It's
and
Payback. I was going to say Payback. Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's in Conspiracy Theory too.
He is. Yeah.
Oh, Jean-Luc Picard.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, he's I mean, I think he's primarily best known as Martin Riggs. But he's Bird on a Wire. Air America wasn't bad either. Yeah, Forever Young, Maverick.
That dude, talk about someone who can grow a beard. That
Ransom was good too.
That dude can grow. Oh, Ransom's a good flick.
Yeah.
That was a good flick. Yeah, I forgot.
I want my son. That's all I remember from the trailers. I want my son. Chris Baber.
Gary Sinise is the bad cop in that takes his kid.
He is, yep. Chris Baber going hard into the paint again. Just when you think he couldn't do it, he comes out on top, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing but net. Last time it was 1 second ago. This is 0.5 seconds. Chris Baber from just outside the paint sinks the three. Unbelievable, Chris. Great supporter of the channel, Chris Baber is, and it does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. We really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That's just awesome. And he says, "What's up, Tony?"
What's up?
So yeah, I think that was it. I think we were able to get the last one there. That was it. Hey, folks, that's gonna do it for Tony and I here.
Motherfucker!
Trick or treat, motherfucker! That's gonna do it for Tony and I on episode 66. 66 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. We want to thank each and every one of you that tuned in tonight. Thank you for all the super chats. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed watching Dracula with us. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, right below my little box there, and of course Tony Michael's Instagrams are below his box as that's all below his box.
That's a
below
whole
his window.
Story.
Below his window. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. And thanks to my moderators, of course, in the chat room, Darren Sands, Tabitha Short, Jason Nike, Frank Riker, who have been doing a great job on keeping the peace in the chat room. Awesome stuff. Tony, any last things you want to say?
Hey guys, listen, not to be all like melodramatic, but we only do get one life. So, choose your time wisely, but don't stop living your life either, because you can't get this fucking time back. Just keep doing what you got to do, and yeah, man, just fucking live your life.
100%. Stay safe out there, folks. Be vigilant, but be smart. Alrighty, we'll be back with Two Dudes next Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for McRae Live. Until then, in the meantime and in between time, cheers.